Hope you guys are ready to talk about some fucked up shit. It's Enter Tournament of Champions podcast, the only podcast in the world that exists, period. So I'm glad you found us and listened to us. I believe we're number one rated on every chart everywhere. I wouldn't fact check any of this stuff, but thanks for listening. We're that one podcast where we like talk about our top 10 of a given genre or subject, and then in the next episode we put those favorites in a 16-seated bracket and debate them out until there's a champion of champions, because we like the word champions. Mm-hmm. That's primarily why we do it, not because we like any of this shit. My name's Jeff. I'm one of three hosts, whatever you want to call it, people that talk on this show.
And I'm Kyle, and I'm like one of the other three people who like totally talk on this show.
Right?
I got a little Valley Girl.
JD, and I do the talking as well.
Oh, okay.
So how are you?
Yeah, exactly. So we're all famous talkers. No actual skills that go along with our name. Like I don't really do anything else.
No, just real good talkers. We talk real good, so.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I tweet things. I do that on the side. That's about it. That's all I do. Actually, Kyle, you do the most. You stream video games sometimes. That's about it.
Yeah, I do.
Other than that, this podcast is life.
Yeah.
You can find us here and here. And that's it. There you go. The subject that we landed on for the 2-episode arc that we did was last week we did top 10 most disturbing movies. Go listen to that for context on how we constructed the bracket. And this week we put those disturbing movies in a 16-seeded tournament like I talked about. And we're going to take turns voting on which one moves through. And I think most disturbing movies, we kind of, each of us ranked them personally based on how disturbing the movies were. But I think we kind of want to leave this episode with a recommendation, not something that's like, don't watch this movie, it's fucking gross, Yeah. So we're going to kind of take that into consideration. We're going to weigh both sides of it.
We may have an asterisk winner too, but really the most disturbing movie is whatever,
Yeah, exactly.
We go recommend this movie, but
we want you to watch this on like Halloween night and be okay with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But also we want you to think about it and be like, oh, that was really fucked up, but I really like that movie,
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about. I would have titled it Most Fucked Up Movies. I don't think that would have been tasteful for everybody, because I know we have some 12-year-olds that listen, even though we cuss like sailors.
Do we really have 12-year-olds that listen?
No, I don't fucking know. I don't.
Turn us off, kids. There's nothing you're going to learn here.
No, not at all. Especially this episode.
Yeah.
You want to learn how to force people to eat shit?
Yeah. Some sociopath's like, yeah, I want to.
I've been dying to learn how to do that, brah. I assume they talk like that. So the first matchup that we have is actually kind of related to shit eating. Both movies are shit eating, have shit eating in them.
Mm-hmm. Natural segue.
Absolutely, the most natural segue we've ever done on the show, and we've tried a bunch, and a lot of the times they just fail. But we do this March Madness style, so we have number 16 seed Human Centipede, the first one, the first sequence, I think they call it officially, the title, now that there's like 18 of them. Right. And versus the number 1 seed, which was kind of easy in terms of the qualifications of most disturbing, it's Salo or the 120 Days of Sodom.
I like that you said the whole name, so thank you.
You're welcome. I almost said Solo.
Solo, or...
I have that Star Wars thing in my brain.
That was such a good joke.
120 stories of Star Wars. Yeah.
I didn't even meme it. I just typed on my personal Facebook, Solo or 120 movies of Star Wars. Because I was like, there's no time. I got to get it out.
It's good. You got it out, and I want to believe in my heart of hearts that you were first in the whole world to do that. So.
And then the memes the next day on our Facebook page, which Kyle posts, and they're great, there were a couple in there, right? One of them was about the
I went a little
movie.
Solo crazy. Yeah, it's like what a Solo's doing a solo movie, so we can have a Solo movie. Yeah, it's just like...
And then the Sand one about
my god,
it's just called Sand. Yeah,
that was so brilliant.
It gets everywhere.
It's coarse.
So great. Oh man,
it's rough.
I like it. He talks like Trump sometimes.
I hate it. I hate Sand.
I like it. Loser. Sand, big loser.
Look, from my perspective, the Muslims are evil, okay?
The Yeah, from my perspective, the Jedi are fake news. Bunch of
Fake
losers.
news.
All right, so that's our first matchup, and the order this week starts with me, and then it goes JD and then Kyle, and then we alternate each round. But for this one, I start, and I'm gonna go with the movie that has more like meaning behind the fucked up shit, because both of these have fucked up shit in them. Salo exponentially has more. You know what I mean? Like there's more. Mm-hmm. There's rape in it, and there's I talked about the shit eating already. Isn't there mutilation of genitals and stuff? I forget.
Mutilation and like burning of genitalia.
Yeah.
Just
everything, and of course murder and all that stuff. But
everyone's too young to it.
Exactly. Yeah, and pedophilia, of course. So it's exponentially. There's a lot more in there, but there's more of a message behind it. Like you have powerful people that are trusted by their general populace that are committing these acts, and they do it regularly. Like this is just like the time of the season, quote unquote, for them. So
right, this is their vacation home.
Exactly. You know? So there's more meaning behind and not that I would recommend seeing the movie. I don't know if this movie's going to last that far in the actual bracket when we discuss watchability and stuff.
Yeah.
But Human Centipede is just it's just there to make you squirm. That's all its existence is about.
I think Human Centipede is a reaction to just like torture porn, like the genre of like horror or whatever, and it's not a good reaction in my opinion.
But it's not necessarily like hostile type stuff where it's just like here's blood and guts and it's tasteless. Really, no. It's more just kind of like I don't know, situations you wouldn't want to be in, of course, but it's gross.
Right. I feel like they're like, well, we're gonna look at hostile and we're gonna try and make people more uncomfortable.
Right.
Like we're going to try and up the ante, not in like the same way, but in a different way. And it did it in its own way because it's got a weird cult following and had a lot of sequels. And you'll squirm,
you're guaranteed to do that for parts of all of these movies, honestly, at some point. But I'm going to go ahead and vote for Salo just to get this round over with. JD is next on this one. These are the worst movies to put against each other, or the best, depends on your viewpoint.
So you're in the front of the Human Centipede of this round, and I guess I'm smack dab in the middle.
Yeah,
so
you have the worst of it, because you have the guilt of shitting in Kyle's mouth while I have to eat your shit. But I'm sorry, you have to eat my shit. So
you have the best. But, you got the best gig here.
Yep. Kyle has to eat your shit that turns into my shit.
That's too much. It's shitception. I can't handle that.
They should have called it the fucking movie.
Yeah, they should have.
Shitception.
We're gonna go one shit deeper.
It's impossible. Not possible.
It's impossible. No one's gone 3 shits deep.
Guys, we have to factor in the shit dilation.
I know how to do it. I can go 3 shits deep.
We're in shit limbo. There's shit everywhere. I can't stop shitting.
Oh my god. That's great. Well, I'm gonna go with Human Centipede just because of that notion right now. No, it's Salo because these movies, I mean, they're equally fucked up in premise, but like you said with Salo, at least there's kind of a statement there. That's what the director was trying to go for. Human Centipede is just that shit just for the sake of that shit. There's no, I mean, I'm sure there's a social commentary in there somewhere, but whatever. I'm not going to rewatch it and find it. I didn't rewatch it.
Yeah, it's literally just a dude in his basement jerking off with sandpaper and shit. Just being weird. There's no message there. Just
that movie has no meaning.
Right. Other than to ruin your night.
At least Salo, for all its fucked up shit, was very artistic. There are a lot of elements to it. Like if you were just closing your eyes.
Watch Alec Baldwin defend that movie, and he'll say words that you're saying right now. It's an artistic movie about putting society under a microscope and what power does to people, and how fucking relevant is that now in today's world with what power is doing to people.
People are still Harvey Weinstein stuff is still breaking.
This stuff is still
every day, man.
Hollywood's on fire right now. It might as well be Salo the movie with how much kid fucking and shit that's going on up there. So
crazy.
So it's not too far off from what could be happening right now as we're shooting this podcast, and that's I think that's what makes it extra creepy, that extra layer of just ugh.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Salo goes through. Kyle didn't even have to vote, but would you have gone with Salo too eventually?
Yeah, obviously I want to go with Human Centipede. I was a big cheerleader for that movie. So.
You did have it on your list at number 2. No, you didn't. You didn't have that shit anywhere. I didn't either. Actually, you know what? I had it as an honorable mention purely because, it was kind of fucked up and it was a phenomenon.
It is fucked up. I mean,
when it came out.
It is fucked up.
I had it as a throw-in, man, because I just hadn't seen enough fucked up shit. Y'all have ruined my,
Oh, dude.
Yeah, sorry.
Y'all have ruined my... This has been a rough week.
I am glad this is over. I didn't even finish my last movie, and I was like,
I barely got to any of those movies just because of how bad my week has been outside of this. So I was just like, I don't need to pile on right now. I want to, I can't do that.
No, you need to break from, especially you're in workaholic mode, not by choice, but you are.
Yes.
When you want to step away from work, you're not going to be like, all right, now I want to be messed up.
I can't wait to watch these kids get fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not really running home from work thinking that. So, yeah.
A lot of these brackets are very interesting. The next matchup is 2 great movies, so this is going to be tough. We have number 9 seed Green Room, which was in Kyle's top. I think it was in your top 10 last year. It might have been in mine or knocked out a little bit last year. Great movie.
I really like that movie.
Versus number 8 seed Old Boy. This is a tough round, and the disturbing elements in it are kind of spread out and earned. This is an interesting round. Kyle goes first in this one.
Oh boy,
Old Boy, right?
Yeah, probably actually. So I think I am just gonna go Old Boy, just because by the end of Old Boy, I'm like going no way more at the end of that movie than I am at the few moments that I am like, oh god, that guy's arm in Green Room, oh Jesus, I broke that guy's arm, whatever. Oh my god, dog ate that girl's face, it's just like they're really quick. Whereas like Old Boy's hooks, they sink deep into you, and I'm still thinking about that thing today and just go, what the fuck?
That's so true.
So it's just a long-lasting, and like you said, earned type of thing. And there's a lot more than that, like the teeth scene in that movie where he's taking out that dude's teeth with like the hammer and stuff like that. It's just like there are a lot of scenes in that movie that just make you kind of squirm. But that ending is really earned, and it's psychologically fucked up. It's fucked up in every way. You don't see a lot, except maybe a tongue getting cut off or something, but like. Just the idea of what is transpiring, it's fucking disturbing.
Yeah, it's more about the plans of the villain that ultimately are the more fucked up elements of the movie.
Yeah.
So your vote's for Old Boy, right?
Old Boy for sure. Okay. Yeah.
I have the luxury of being the middle of this centipede right now, so
cool.
Luxury. That's the worst word to use for that metaphor. But Old Boy is absolutely getting my vote, even though Green Room is great. That director, up-and-comer, Jeremy Saulnier, I believe his name is. He did Blue Ruin before that. He's got a knack. He's got a fucking knack for those scenes that just are like visceral as fuck and bloody in a real way that just make you uncomfortable and make you want to like put you in that situation almost and make you want to pass out through proxy. He's just really great at that stuff. And yeah, it's few and far between in Green Room, but ultimately it's there to, of course, make you squirm, but it serve the larger narrative of what drives these characters to become as violent as they do by the end of the movie. They even reach a point in the movie where they have the option to turn around and they choose not to. They're like, let's go fucking kill these guys. They just embrace it, I guess. So, I mean, there's a meaning in that movie, too. It's great.
That whole moment where they're just like, just pretend like it's pretend, or whatever. And it's just like you did when you were a kid, Right. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's just interesting. They completely are letting go of reality and, violence
the end
does
of it
weird shit to people.
Is so good, too, because you have that beginning line where they ask Anton Yelchin R.I.P. because that dude is a fucking talent. A talent. It's so sad to hear about his passing. But the beginning of the movie, he's asked about, I think it was inspirations or some shit like that. And then at the end of the movie, he comes up with one. But by that point, it's like, who fucking cares? And that's literally her answer is, who gives a shit? And then the movie ends, and it's so great. I love that. I just wanted to throw some love at Green Room because I do like that movie a lot, and I can't wait to see what that director does next. He's doing some type of the Gray type of movie with wolves eating people and shit.
Cool.
And it's like a detective story and stuff. I'm excited to see that. Old Boy's got to move forward, though. It's almost a perfect movie.
Is one of the most visceral scenes.
What was that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Old Boy. I was going to say the dog scene in the Green Room is one of the most visceral scenes, so if he's doing a whole movie about, like, dogs eating people, can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Right?
Excited. Yay. Yeah.
Poor fucking dog. Yeah.
We're going to be so afraid of our own puppers for, like, a solid week.
Jesus. And then, of course, the gutting of the stomach was the most, for me, I know the arm was fucked up, but the stomach thing was like, ah! Like, I just couldn't stop.
So unsettling. Yeah.
Exactly. Old Boy FTW in this round because, it's a near perfect movie for me, so it's got to move forward. It's got fucked up elements, and it's just a great fucking movie.
Which that's a hard line to walk. Because
it is.
Usually it'll just teeter to one side or the other, where it's just like, oh, it didn't commit to being fully disturbing, it's just a great movie, or, oh, wow, it's way too disturbing, get me off this ride. Yeah,
Salo. Hello, Salo.
Yeah, Salo.
So Old Boy does move on, but I would be curious to know, because this is kind of a toss-up round since they're 9 and 8. What would you have voted, JD?
Well, they're both relatively new loves for me. Fresh eyes on both. I put Old Boy on my list because you guys have talked about it before, and I knew what the fucked up twist was.
Ooh.
It would have been higher on my list if I had actually seen the fucking thing, because it's such a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been that immersed in a foreign language film in a long time.
Good.
So I was really glad that ended up being on the flicks, because didn't really want to watch that shit in Hindi.
Yeah, that would have been annoying. How'd you like that octopus scene?
Oh, man, that was fucking crazy. Was he actually eating a real octopus?
Yes. It's a real live octopus. They shoot that scene like 50 times because it kept on suctioning to his face or in his throat.
Yeah, they couldn't work out the logistics of eating it.
He would throw up all over the plate in front of him. They had to keep on shooting it over and over again because he just couldn't get it down.
Guy.
Yeah, but it'd be Old Boy for me for sure. Green Room was really, really good, but it didn't land with me as much as Old Boy. Still a really good movie, though. There
are scenes where, and I'm not going to linger on this too long, where, in Old Boy, where, he is getting out of the suitcase for the first time, and it's, those are some of the most beautifully shot scenes, you can, witness in cinema.
Oh, that's the thing with the movie, right? That's one of the greater things about the movie is how well it's shot,
Yeah,
the cinematography and the director.
Like, the way that we pick apart artsy movies here, and this is just some guy in career, you know what I mean? Not just some guy, he's the guy, but to the mass majority, nobody knows who this guy is, and he's, him and his team, they got an eye for this type of stuff.
Right. And there's a reason that Spike Lee ripped that part off almost verbatim, where he's in that chest and he's escaping it, but he's out in the open. But I mean, there's nothing that feels freeing about it because of what he's been through.
Yeah.
So, it's just a great shot that you there's a lot to pick apart there in that one shot. God damn it. I can't wait to talk more about Old Boy, man. This movie's going to go, it could go far.
It could go far.
I'm rubbing my nut villainous in a villainous way. But I'm ooh, you can hear it a little bit. You can, All right. Anyway, the next matchup is the hardest one that we're going to talk about, and I vote last, so I'm excited. We have number 13 seed 7. So number 7 is Clockwork Orange. So number 7 is Clockwork Orange. So that goes here. No, I'm kidding. That's enough 7 jokes. All right. So number 13 is.
I gotcha.
Number 13 is 7, and number 4 seed is Requiem for a Dream.
Woo!
This round can kiss my ass.
Yeah,
kiss the inner lining of my butthole. Because
I haven't participated in it, so that's.
I don't even care how this one goes.
Yeah.
I mean,
right? You don't even care.
But, I don't care.
This is a win for the viewers at
You're
this point.
I'm flipping a coin. It's Requiem.
Right?
Exactly.
JD, you're first on this one.
Oh, well, that's good.
Oh, thank God. I was going to say, can I go first, sir?
Yeah, there we go. Well, I didn't rewatch 7 for this bracket, but you don't need to. We've seen this movie so many times.
Yeah, you weren't like, what's in the movie?
Yeah, what's in the
remember
movie?
It.
Becomes 7. Oh, wait, John Doe says that. Not more than 3. Damn it. John Doe has the upper hand. But Requiem for a Dream, I did rewatch a little bit of it. I didn't finish it, but it had been so long since I'd seen it that I got an hour into it as I was going to sleep one night. Not a good movie to fall asleep to. Don't know if you guys know that.
I don't know what would compel you to be like, I'm going to get in bed and cozy on up and put on Requiem for a Dream.
I did that with another movie we're going to talk about later, and that was not a good idea.
Guys, what's wrong with
time
you guys?
management. It was time management, and also the heroin kicked in, and I was like, I just need to fucking do this shit. So, yeah.
I literally watched every movie in bed, so
we have a side heroin podcast, so I totally get it.
Yeah,
wait,
it's called the Heroin
why didn't I know
Diaries.
about this?
Oh, wait,
The
that's
Heroin
actually
Cast?
patented. We can't say about that. Ugh.
Jesus Christ.
Man, this one is going to be really hard for me because I view both movies in a very similar light. Like they're not movies that I would recommend to everybody. I mean, Seven probably more so. I think I'd be a little more. I think I'd be a little more reserved on who I tell to go watch Requiem for a Dream, just because of how fucking dark it gets.
It does get pretty dark.
God,
yeah, I was gonna say I would recommend
grim.
that movie to everybody. No, I wouldn't recommend it to my mom. You know,
No.
or my grandma.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I just one thing I was reminded of was the quick cuts when they're consuming things, whether it's food or drugs or television or whatever the thing is in the moment. You know, just those little quick shots, like all the little sounds and shit, seeing the eyes dilate and all that. It's really, really cool.
That's very much borrowed, I think, heavily from like foreign movies, especially like in France and Italy and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just taken over here.
Edgar Wright does that a lot in his movies.
Oh yeah,
too.
he does, but for sure.
Yeah.
But it's like inspired by like older foreign
French
filmmakers.
Just,
and
yeah,
stuff.
exactly. Older French and European flicks.
And I love that he used that technique for this because he doesn't. Darren Aronofsky, this is one of his first movies outside of like Pi and stuff, and he doesn't do that in Pi. He doesn't do that in Silver Linings Playbook. Oh, that's not him. That's David O. Russell. Sorry, he doesn't. He definitely didn't do it in Silver Linings
Those
Playbook.
two couldn't be any different.
No, he didn't do that in The Wrestler. He knows, he understands the movie that he's tackling, and that's what I love about his work. Is that he knows when to use techniques like that or to be subdued and documentary-ish, like in The Wrestler. It's just, God, that dude knows his craft. He fucking
Wrestler
does.
is
For sure.
so
For
good.
sure.
I really like him, which is why I'm dragging my feet to Mother with all this like I don't know, and I'm like, okay.
It's tough to recommend because like I know people that love it. They're like top 5 movie of the year, and I'm like, are you sure? Like I don't. You can't tell people how to feel about that movie. You just can't. It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's not like
And I don't
Transformers
think,
where you're like, dude, trust me, it's shit.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's easy for like a movie like Transformers where you're like, come on, dude, really?
And then people sing and go, I know, and they buy the ticket anyway, you know?
Yeah. Dude, seriously, top 5 movies of the year, man. Transformers, serious, man, like, seriously.
0 people have that, like unless they don't see any other movies this year.
Or you just really love Transformers, you know?
That's true. I love what he's
I've
done
got,
with it. I
I've
love
got
how
the
he pulled his pants down.
Decepticon and the Autobot shirt. I don't fucking choose size, you know?
I just
love
like
how
how it
Michael
really
Bay, like, pulled
doesn't
his pants
bastardize
down
my
and,
childhood.
He totally like took a shit on the franchise. I love that Michael Bay did that. It's so great.
My favorite thing is that he keeps on coming back and doing more. That's my favorite.
Right? Okay, guys, for real, I'm done. All right, I'm back.
All right, I'm back, baby.
Okay, digress. We digress for that's our official only allowed digression, I think.
The only digression? Okay.
Yeah, that's the only one I think we're gonna do too, right?
Way
'Cause
off
never
road.
do
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
We never do that.
All right.
I think
Back on track.
Podcast, guys.
Back on
tight,
track.
tight podcast.
Right? We run a tight ship. No, we don't. So JD, where were you
Man,
talking? Are you? I sorry to distract you, but are you leaning one way at all? Because I know this is a hard round.
I'm really on the fence because if you look at it from a narrative standpoint, you're looking at downward spirals from beginning to end. 7, you don't really know that it's his downward spiral until that twist ending. I mean, you can kind of see it there, I guess, a little bit, but Requiem for a Dream is just deliberately like, here are these people, here are their choices, and here are the repercussions for all of their decisions that you've seen. So you get to see everything, whereas 7, the disturbing aspect of it is largely unseen except for the aftermath of John Doe. You don't see the killings happen, and I
The
think
only
a lot
killing
of
you see is Brad Pitt.
is Brad
murdering
Pitt,
him.
right?
Yeah.
You see Rat, but I think the most disturbing elements of all these movies we've been watching is just watching it happen. Like I mean, in Salo especially, just watching those people go through that shit, even if you know it's fake. That's what sticks with me. It's not necessarily the act; it's the fact that I subjected my eyes to it. So I think on that note, I'm gonna vote for Requiem.
Okay.
Because I think it's a beautifully told awful story, and
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Seven is gritty, and I think it's a great movie, and it's one of my favorites. I don't know where they would land on my just all-around favorites of all time, but I think from a disturbing movie standpoint, Requiem wins if all things are equal from a quality standpoint for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go.
I understand. This is even though like Seven's showing my hand here, it's in my top 40 of all time.
Yeah,
it's still in this topic.
Both might be in my top 40. That's my.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah,
I get it though. Like that's the thing.
So you're choosing a movie, and I'm sitting here building a case for one of them. I'm like, well, it's actually like a good movie, and it's actually quality shot, and it's actually like well directed. It's actually well written, and I'm like, wait, what movie am I talking about? Both?
Yeah,
because they both are right. Absolutely. Ellen Barkin got an Oscar nomination for her performance.
Absolutely.
I think. Was it Barkin or was it
Ellen Burstyn?
Burstyn, sorry.
Burstyn, yeah.
Barkin. She's from like Ocean's
Ellen
13.
Barkin.
That's the last thing I saw her in.
Jesus.
I haven't seen her in anything in a long time. Anyway, JD goes Requiem. Kyle is up next.
I really don't know, man. I'm gonna have to phone a friend on this one. I really don't know. If this
Hold on,
really
somebody's calling me.
Oh, here we go. Can you just randomly? Like, hey, you don't know him, but can you answer for him? God, Seven's really good.
Yeah, incredible.
It's a really good movie, but I have never had the urge to like kill people, so I'm never watching that movie and go, I will never kill people or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
However, Requiem for a Dream, it's got the drugs and stuff like that. But when I watch that movie, like in my early teens or whatever, we're not talking about later. We're talking about in my early teens. When I watch that movie, I go, I'm never fucking doing drugs. That's horrifying.
Yeah.
After watching this movie, like, it stuck with me. Like, and it still sticks with me. And I like that movie. It's a really fucking good movie. Like, I mean, it's really fucking good. Some of the best performances from like all of those people's like careers, But I think I'm gonna have to go Requiem on this one. I'm gonna have to shut you out, man.
Wow.
Fuck.
Were you gonna go 7, Jeff?
Oh yeah, I was for sure.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
7. God, I don't know. I think like, oh man, 7 may be the better movie. Maybe. Like I might rank it higher, like in terms of like the movie I go back to and watch more and stuff like that, just because I like movies like that. But like the one that like affected me more is definitely Requiem for a Dream.
I could see that affecting people, especially at the age that we watched it. I could see it affecting them.
I was a freshman, so
yeah, and the city where we grew up. I mean, this was all a very relevant topic.
Very relevant
for our upbringing.
We all grew up in Plano, so it was all heroin.
Like, they should have shown this movie in school instead of like the Voyage of the Mimi in science with fucking Ben Affleck.
I didn't learn shit from Voyage of the Mimi. Other than get naked and cuddle whenever you get hypothermia.
And deaf girls like peanut butter. That's all I learned.
That's it. And Ben Affleck sucked Ben just like he did. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, fucking Cherry Bowls suck on Ben Affleck too.
Fucking Voyage of the Mimi. I was going to say, like, yeah, all they showed us about drugs and health class, which is way too broad of a name of a class, by the way, to actually, teach you, this one day we're going to learn about drugs, and that's it. Like, one day to drugs. It's
all
crazy.
They tell you is don't do weed because it's a gateway drug, and then they never tell you any of the valid reasons.
And then, but like, never really talk about meth or heroin, which was the thing that was killing kids in our city.
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
it was literally the thing that was killing people in our city, and like they were just like, yeah, but don't do weed, guys. Weed will get you into some real sticky situations. If you smell weed in your house, it means your parents are smoking it, and you should turn them in. Fuck you! Like, you're so crazy.
so that then you can go into Child Protective Services and get in that great system that always works out
that's
for people.
it. My sister worked in that. She left because it was fuck. She was like, I can't even. She went she pursued her major to work in that, and like quit after years because it's just a clusterfuck, Anyways, it got real there for a second.
It did.
Yeah, it did.
I was going to say that Requiem's way better than those poorly acted 90s videos that they force kids to still watch. They're like, no, I don't want that, Yolanda. I'm clean, or whatever.
I pass on grass.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. That shit.
It genuinely kept me away from drugs. Like, genuinely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Genuinely. At that age.
I can say for sure that it kept me away from heroin specifically because to see his arm in
coke
his arm had a nuclear bomb dropped on it, and then it had to get decapitated.
Yeah, it was the grossest thing in the world. And then when he injected, that's
in the car. God damn.
The scene. Like, yeah, you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, all right.
I can't say. I'm kind of outing myself, but we're having a real topic, a real discussion about this. I can't say that it kept me away from Speed.
No, it didn't do that for me either. I've tried Adderall, which is
okay,
Speed.
yeah. Adderall is basically Speed if you take a lot of it. So I took 3. I think I took 3 in one night. I was up for 4 days.
Yep. And then how long did you sleep after that? Like 2?
I don't even remember, dude. I remember losing a lot of weight. I remember
going
to work
and on it
because you don't eat and you're up and you're active.
It is literally the same stuff that was in diet pills for women in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah, right before the FDA said we can't do that anymore.
Speed.
Exactly.
It's always
wrong.
Been speed. It's never not been Speed.
But cocaine.
Yeah, I was Ritalin baby, so I was on a lot of Ritalin as a kid. So yeah.
I'm gonna be honest though. Blow, the movie Blow, is what kept me out of kept cocaine out of my nose. Even if I was around people that did it, I was like, I'm never gonna fucking do Blow. Like, because seeing people's nose bleed and like they just collapse and shit. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm out. I can't do that shit. Like
Penelope Cruz was doing like Scarface levels of cocaine.
Yes,
she was going crazy.
Cartoonish mountains of cocaine. Yeah, because that's what Scarface is. It's like, the fuck, nobody does that. That's hilarious.
No one puts their face to a mountain of coke and then just lifts their head up and goes,
and then continues to live their life. Like,
yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go fucking take care of shit now.
Yeah, no, I'm dead. Yeah, I would have gone 7, and I was kind of mounting a case, but that was only if the vote got split. I understand Requiem moving forward, though, especially for, I mean, I think both of these movies have that value of sticking with you after you see them, but like Requiem definitely.
I think so too. 7 we saw. No, we didn't make the same point we made last podcast. That 7 was probably all of our first disturbing movie we've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
probably.
And it does stick with you, like because like I still remember gratuitously, like all of the deaths and all of the murder scenes and stuff like that. So
the knife penis thing with the hooker.
Oh, you're talking about the dildo? They put a spike on it.
Well, no, that wasn't a dildo with a spike. That was a blade.
Oh, that's right. And
I mean,
here's
that's
the thing
like
with that scene. What's really great about it is like they don't really show you that I remember because I haven't seen it in maybe like a year. They don't really show you like here's the corpse and here's how mutilated it is.
Yeah, no.
Do they?
Well, I'm agreeing with you. They don't really show that.
They show the dude confessing.
Fashion. They just show you the overall crime scene.
Yeah,
like you see the green guy with his eyes ripped out and stuff. Right. The lawyer.
That's the thing, like, that's the best part, and that's, oh my god, that's the best part about the writing and the directing of the movie, is that, and the scoring, too, because it's all of the mood that's being created while the guy's confessing to his crime, and I'm over here getting really unsettled that he's like, he made me put on this dildo with a knife on it, and then he made me fuck her with it, or whatever, and I'm like, ugh, like, I'm getting unsettled by just the image I'm creating in my head.
Your imagination is way
that
worse
makes
than
it worse.
Exactly.
It's Jaws. It's Jaws.
It's Jaws. It's full-on Jaws. It's the Jaws of neo-noir detective movies. Except for the emaciated part with the dude that starved himself, and he's still alive, and you're like, I can't deal with this.
That part freaks me out every time. I'm
like,
I forgot you lived.
I forget that too.
Dr.
Every
Cox is the police officer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What were you saying, JD?
Dr. Cox is the police officer that's like, you got what you deserve, you lazy fuck, and then he just, oh my god.
It's absolutely him, yeah.
Goddamn Dr. Cox. I was watching another movie that he was in.
He only plays military, doctors.
Yeah, he went full-on military there for a while in the late 90s, early aughts.
Early 80s,
I was watching another movie recently that he was in, and I can't remember what it was now.
True.
It's going to drive me nuts. Or whatever. Anyway, Requiem moves on. I can't say I'm not happy about it. I mean, I love 7 more, but Requiem...
I wouldn't have cared if it had gone towards 7 because both of these movies, it's a shame they're ranked against each other in the first round because they could have each plowed through a couple rounds, I think, depending on the matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think this might be one of the only times they go against each other, unfortunately, in our podcast. I can't imagine another scenario where they come up against each other. Unless we're like, best directors with the first name that starts with a D. Here we go.
Man, is that going to be like in 2029?
That's like totally 2029.
to talk about?
Oh my gosh.
Hopefully by that point we'll be celebrating the 60th Ant-Man movie. All right, here we go.
Please, with Paul Rudd Jr.
We assume his son will take the mantle.
Is Terminex Man the bad guy in that one? Like,
I actually like Ant-Man. I'm sorry I made that joke. Anyway,
I like Ant-Man too.
Yeah.
Here we go. The next round.
I like you. You're great.
For me personally, might be a little easier. Sorry for kind of showing that already. But we have number 12 seed, the Neon Demon, Nicholas Winding Refn movie. Very divisive, obviously, because he directed it, and that's what he does.
All he does,
divisive movies. Exactly. You know what? Fuck what audiences want. I'm just going to make whatever the fuck.
Did you read that article about what Darren Aronofsky said? Sorry to derail back to him again, but he was just like, it's not really
about Mother's reception?
Yeah, he's like, it's not really my job to make a movie that people like. It's my job to make a movie, and it's your job to respond to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
I respect the shit out of that,
too. I respect
too.
the fuck out of that, yeah.
Exactly. And when he said that, he name dropped a critic. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, and he goes, like, career made. He was like,
yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Like,
I love this
the
whole
fact
attitude.
that guy hated my movie so passionately is a win for me. Yeah.
Dude,
I can't remember who the critic was.
He evoked that feeling out of us. And that's what movies are supposed to do.
He evoked that emotion out of me when I walked out of that movie.
Yeah, apparently.
Like, I was texting you guys my tweets and shit, like going, fuck this movie. Like, so, it worked. Neon Demon kind of did that to me too, though, after I walked out of that movie. I was kind of, I don't know if I remember what I messaged to Kyle at the time that I left the movie, because I know we did have a thread going.
I remember it being the same thing that you'd said for Mother. We were like, I really like the first 2/3 of that movie, and then I don't know what happened. I'm like, you said this before. You said this for Neon Demon. Like, holy shit.
That's crazy. I don't remember exactly what I said, but it's one of those movies that, like, I haven't even rewatched it, and I'm still kind of like sitting on it in my head, like thinking about it. But number 5 seed is one I just watched, and I know you guys have already seen it. Hard Candy. So it's Neon Demon versus Hard Candy. This might be a tougher round for others, and I go first on this one. But it's not just because it's the higher seed. I just think that Hard Candy is just a tougher pill to swallow, easier pill to swallow by mistake. Oh. And I think the writing is just fucking top notch, dude. Like, the writing is so good in that movie.
Yeah.
Talking about if there is such a thing, the nuances of pedophilia. Like, Ellen Page is a 14-year-old in it, and she is telling this guy who is obviously has some type of mental issue or whatever that makes him like younger women, explaining to him what's wrong with him, and she's doing it in such an eloquent way. She's like, obviously she's been deemed like what? Also, not just like a genius, but she's insane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she's doing it in such a way where it's
4 out of 5 doctors agree
guy.
or something.
Yeah, she's not a good guy. She's not a bad guy. She's just a person. She's a person that, a vigilante that has questionable methods, for sure. But the way that she lays everything out, like, just because a girl talks like a woman, acts like a woman, doesn't mean that she's ready to do what a woman does. And that's just like, when you lay shit out like that, how do pedophiles or whatever, I don't know why they would watch this movie. I don't want to watch my kind get tortured. But how do you watch that and go, oh, I get it, I fucked up? Like, how do you, like, it's just spelled out so plainly.
People like that, there's no reforming that.
That's true. That's a good point. I honestly do think, this is a touchy topic, like drug use. More so, though. Way more so. But there's something mentally wrong there. For sure. Like, there's just...
It has to be, right?
It has to be, right? You don't just... it's like... We call everything else like you're... I don't want to say they're born that way, but there's some shit... You watch Mindhunter, guys. Like, just watch Mindhunter.
Oh my God, watch that show.
Yeah. Speaking of David Fincher...
Jesus.
you'll get to explore like the deeper meanings behind people's motivations, whether they're serial killers or pedophiles, whatever their motivations are, whatever their crimes are, I should say. And it just explores that more. So you're not so just like, oh, fucking pedophiles, oh, pieces of shit, rotten hell.
A lot of times these sexual acts aren't even
the crime is
being
horrible.
Sexual, like
what was that?
I said a lot of times these sexual acts aren't even about being sexual. Like it's
right.
Oh man,
it's like a compulsion or some shit. It's just
or it's more about humiliation or dominance or Mindhunter is a real. You want to learn some stuff? Well, just watch that show.
Yes, yeah, trust me.
It's a real learning show. Yeah.
And I'm not saying we should start putting on applications for censuses or whatever. What's your sexual orientation, pedophile? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying normalize it. I'm saying, for some people, whatever happened in their childhood that made them think this way, or if they were born with some fucking weird thing where they always like children and never grow up, I don't know. It's not something that they're like actively choosing to enjoy. Why the fuck would you choose that?
Yeah, right.
They're choosing to act on it, absolutely, because society is telling everybody that's fucking wrong. So there's a choice there. Sorry. This is a fucking deep, dark rabbit hole to go down.
This has been a deep podcast.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. But Hard Candy made me think of all this stuff as it was going on. Neon Demon made me go, why the fuck did he take such a hard right at the end of the movie? And I understand the symbolism of the characters as we talk to people online about it. Kyle, you were in one of the threads that I talked with somebody about it, where they, I think it was your friend Michael, who was like, yeah, they're like witches or whatever. They're doing a ritual. And I was like, oh, I get it. Okay, that's cool. But, it's just, you didn't have to go so hard on it. You didn't, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's kind of like with these other movies that are in our list. What?
Sometimes subtlety is just better,
It just is, yeah. There's other movies in our list, that, in our bracket here, that we're going to talk about that do that, where you're like, I get the message, why are you still driving at home? Like, it's just driving me crazy. But Hard Candy's just a great all-around fucking movie. And yeah, there's a disturbing scene. There's a few disturbing scenes in there, especially when you're dealing with pedophilia. And you have that scene that JD alluded to in the last episode. Makes you squirm because you got a wiener and you don't want to lose it. And the sound effects that they opted for in that scene, they don't show you much.
Oh my god!
It's... God, and she's so casually doing it. Oh, this is a lot easier than I thought it.
Right.
Fuck that, dude. Like,
fuck that, man.
Yeah, she went full Ramsey Bolton on that.
It's just too immersive of a scene. So you're not like, oh, that poor guy. You're just like, oh, my dick. Like, that's all you're thinking about. Stop it. Yeah.
Did you guys notice, too, just how beautiful the movie is? Like,
yes.
The set design and the color use and stuff like that. And I was just blown away by the production of it. Like, the actual sets that they've chose and the colors.
It's the most
and how it's always a solid
movie
color.
About fucking kids ever, for sure. Yeah.
Right? It's the most beautiful movie. About vigilante revenge against a pedophile who also is being accused of another crime. In the movie, but it's great. Their performances are so good. Patrick Wilson,
dude, if you want to see Owlman like in a role that you've never seen him in before, fucking see this. Like that guy's got range, man. When I saw one thing I took away from it regarding him was not that I'm like, ooh, this guy's creepy, even though he plays a good creep. It's just like, wow, this guy like he's got range, like he could play schlubby action hero who's like retired and beyond his prime, and he can play. This because I saw Hard Candy like way after like Watchmen came out. I didn't see Candy when it first came out. So
that's a weird movie to stumble upon. What's this movie?
It was because of we were diving into disturbing movies, so that's the only reason.
Oh, so you looked it up and watched it way before.
This was on so many lists that that's why I ended up watching it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, this movie is well known in the disturbing movie.
Yeah. I'm glad we didn't dive deeper though, because there's some other ones like Serbian Movie and Trans-Siberian and
and like
shit like that.
Maybe one day I'll want to like brush up on my disturbing movies like knowledge, but like it's been a year.
Look, I'll keep a list, but it's not going to happen. Like
as it just affects me more. I'm just like it really.
What were you saying? Sorry, the phone cut out just momentarily.
Oh, me?
Yeah, the connection cut out just momentarily.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying, like, as I get older, I'm just affected by that stuff more for whatever reason. I'm like, I'm being desensitized to all this stuff. Like,
and to get even deeper, sorry to keep going off the rails. We're at a certain age where we're realizing now, like, we're not that old. Don't get me wrong. We're all 30 plus, whatever. Yeah. We're all in our 30s, and it's just like time is valuable now, and we're not going to spend our time wanting to squirm on the fucking couch all the time. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to find better things to do with our time, like enjoy it. And I wouldn't say you particularly enjoy your time with a lot of these movies. So
no,
time is valuable.
And there's a lot of movies out there, and but it's got its group. It's got its group of people who are just like, I love watching those movies.
Oh yeah.
You're putting the work in because I'm not willing to.
Yeah. I got one friend who's Takashi Miike diehard. I talked about him in the last episode, and that's the only type of movies he appreciates. Really, is those subversive, just fucked up horror movies where they eat people and fuck people up and stuff like that. It's just, yeah, dude, it's crazy. Anyway, my vote is Hard Candy. If that wasn't clear. I mean, I'll have some love to shower on Neon Demon because the way that it's directed, I don't know who the cinematographer is. I never remember their names other than Roger Deakins, because Roger Deakins is God, obviously. Watch Blade Runner, people. So, the new one. Also the old one. You know what? Let's talk about Blade Runner.
So my favorite part is when you figure...
But no, it is beautiful. It's fucking gorgeous.
Oh,
and
man.
for it to be about modeling and to be that beautiful, it just adds so many layers to the story.
This is the same guy? Neon Demon and Blade Runner?
No, it's not. I was saying that the only person I know the name of who's a cinematographer
I was about to say, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
He has a catalog. Like, Roger Deakins has a catalog. I'm pretty sure this isn't in it at all.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful movie, and just the way that Refn conceives of these things in his brain. This is his story, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He opted to, in the moment, add that scene that so repulses me with Jenna Malone.
No, you didn't
it
like
was
that
just
too?
supposed to be like just a kiss or something in the scene. I don't want to spoil it too much for people that haven't seen it, but then it goes like way beyond that because she does something in the moment that makes him go like, oh, you know what, you should like totally spit in her mouth and shit like that. He starts piling on, and then the scene goes on a while. This is when people start walking out of the theater at this point.
The scene goes on a long while.
Yes. It's too much, man.
Yeah.
And then it goes into there's a murder, and then there's cannibalism, and it's just what the like. By the end of it, you're just for me, it was in the theater going, "What the fuck was that?" Like it was just, I was very confused by it. But Hard Candy all the way through is just a great movie. And it still ends on that ambiguous note about Ellen Page's character, about like who the fuck she is, how she knew any of this. Who cares? Is the point, I guess. It's such a good movie. I got to go with that one, even though it's a new love. So JD's next.
Man, I have a theory that Ellen Page's character is Anton Chigurh's daughter, actually, and she's just gonna go on like a force of nature.
It's connected
rampage.
universe, yeah.
Yeah, totally connected.
No country
Totally
for soft
connected.
candy.
Yeah. Oh man, no country for bad haircuts. Tell you that. Man, I absolutely, I'm on point with Jeff on this one because as beautiful as Neon Demon was, and I did appreciate the shit out of that beautiful cinematography.
Yeah,
like,
I said wow a lot to myself.
I was in the correct state of mind, had headphones on. That music was
that
fucking
score with
pumping.
headphones.
Woo!
Ooh, yeah,
Man, that was good.
Yeah.
And the music, kind of to throw in another tie to Blade Runner, because why the fuck not? The way that the music like swelled up and just slowly progressed upwards, it kind of reminded me of Blade Runner's themes a little bit.
More ambient type of,
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Man, it was a great watch. I'm glad I watched it. That's a movie that I'll actually recommend to a lot of people that I just want to I want to tell them the soft premise and then just wait for the next day for them to be like, what the fuck did you make me watch?
Yeah, that's a great
"You're welcome.
switcheroo. Like, it's
You're
because
welcome."
my switcheroo movie is Salo, and people find out real quickly. They're like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Oh,
but like
that's
Neon Demon, you're in it 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the only thing that happened. No, it's not. It just you get tricked real bad.
Man, when
It goes
when the model starts heaving and shit, you're like, okay, I know what just happened before. What the fuck is this?
What is this?
And they milk that out for like a good 3-4 minutes.
Yeah.
And then finally what comes out is just like, oh.
And then what follows that up? Yeah. Oh my god, dude.
Didn't even chew, did we? That's not proper.
Yeah, right? What is it, a pill?
And by the way, I think that answers our plot hole with the Minority Report. What happens to eyeballs?
No! You don't take that away. Stomach acid would destroy an eyeball.
It totally closes the plot hole. I get it now. I don't fault Minority Report. I'm going to go back and change my vote retroactively in every round now. That's how we did that. That's how we did that.
So hard.
But no, obviously I'm fucking around. Hard Candy, I agree. Amazing movie. It's probably not one I'm going to rewatch a whole lot. because I watched both of these for the first time within the last few weeks.
I probably watch it again.
But Hard Candy, I appreciate though, man. I mean, Hard Candy was shit. I don't know. I mean, like you guys said, the scenery and everything is fantastic. It's Kyle, you brought it up in the last episode. It's basically a one location kind of movie, except for the first 5 minutes maybe when they're on their way back home. But
Hard Candy?
And Hard Candy.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
They meet somewhere and then they go to his house. Yeah.
Yeah. The performances are fantastic in that one, and that's going to be enough to push it through for me. Neon Demon, though, great movie.
What do you think of Keanu Reeves in Neon Demon, JD?
Man, I thought he was pretty good. I kind of wish we had a little bit more of him.
Me too.
I know.
I love when he gets pissed off and throws the lighter like, ugh. Like, dude, come on, bro.
I like how it's such an inconvenience for him that there's a fucking mountain lion in one of his fucking hotel rooms, you know?
Right, and he's like, you're paying for this.
You're paying for this. What a creepo weirdo that he's playing. And I love that, like, he reads scripts down, he's like, yeah, this is the one. I want that one. I want to play that one.
Can I play the weirdest guy possible once a year? Thank you.
You know, if I'm not doing something weird, don't put that script on my fucking desk. Is that too much to ask?
I need to cleanse my palate from doing all this action, this badass action.
Right.
Kyle, you would have been the last vote if it didn't end up majority. Would you have gone with Hard Candy, or would you probably
I would say that this is a close one in terms of what's more disturbing. I think the most viscerally disturbing scene belongs in Neon Demon.
Absolutely.
But the thing that's going to get a guy more is definitely in Hard Candy, because, again, your imagination is way worse than whatever is transpiring on scene. In any movie ever, just period.
Yeah.
That's why people who use, like, discretion, subtleties, like, that's why, like, horror is more there in those movies than the ones that are just like, and here's the thing that you're scared of, you know?
Right.
So I'll go Hard Candy. It's just a better movie. It will make
consistently better too. It's not like
ladies out there, all none of you that listen to this podcast. I don't know. Maybe there's a couple. I don't know.
Nobody listens to this white cisgender straight male.
I know. Oh my god! I have to say about South Park: A Factor But Whole. I've never felt like I've been playing more of myself in a video game. Like, there are so many labels, and I'm just like, my label is like 16 syllables long, or 16 words long, or whatever.
Right.
Like, I'm a white American straight. Cisgender, like, just fucking, it just goes on and on and on and on. It's so fucking ridiculous.
I know.
Anyways, I'd have to go Hard Candy. It's just a better movie. And like I said, ladies, you may not squirm as much as us guys will, but you'll hopefully appreciate what's happening.
Yes.
Why
there's a lot to appreciate in the vigilantism in the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially now. Yes.
It's just so badass. Yes, it's just badass. And she's so casual about it because she's done it before. Who knows how many times? She's only alluded to one guy.
Right.
But she's done it before. So she's just like, I'm just going to cut off your balls. Anyway.
Yeah.
So the next round is our 15 seed versus our 2 seed. And this is where things get interesting. This is number 15 seed, Snowtown. Or the Snowtown Murders. It depends on what country. You ask, I guess. Well, I went to Brazil and it said Snowtown Murders. So the number, the number 2 seed is Cannibal Holocaust. I don't know. This is where things get interesting. Where like the higher seed might be questionable. I don't know. So Kyle is actually first on this one.
Well, good. Because
I'm last.
See Snowtown, so I have to go Cannibal Holocaust.
No.
I'm gonna do better, everybody, about seeing these movies. It's just been a fucking month this month.
Don't worry, we got a whole month of like no homework basically, so it's all good.
Great, I can catch up on literally everything. God, I have not so many 2017 movies, but enough where I'm just like, it's fucking December almost, guys. You know, like, anyways, I'm gonna have to go Cannibal Holocaust. I am very excited to see you guys hash this one out because I hear this movie is pretty messed up. Cannibal Holocaust has no substance to it whatsoever. It is literally a movie about torturing animals and girls getting impaled in their vaginas by big sticks by the end of this movie. Like, that's pretty much what this movie's about. It has no other fucking moral compass. I
don't know about that, dude. I honestly don't know.
There's more going on?
Yeah, I really do.
Oh, let me hear your thoughts. I haven't seen it in about 8 years, so
it's too much of that message, though. It's too much of the message that I'm thinking it is.
What's the message? Because I don't remember a message. I just remember it just being like a bunch of fucking asshole white kids going into the jungle and just being assholes with this indigenous tribe and then getting fucking like killed.
Yeah,
that's what I remember.
Well, I mean, yeah. Because the indigenous people commit those. I don't want to say commit those crimes. I mean, yeah, the first thing that we see that's fucked up is the indigenous person coming up with a woman and raping her with something and then killing her. So I mean, they try to. He's trying to tell you like there's not that many differences between their rituals and our impulses, but they go way too fucking far. That's the problem with this. And Mother, I think, kind of in the third act alone drives it home way too much. You know, like I get it. You're saying that our societies are not too dissimilar, despite how advanced we have become technologically speaking, and on an intellectual level. Like we should be higher than this on the spectrum in terms of the crimes we commit or whatever. But it's just too fucking much, dude. It's like, and it's also like the animal stuff really got to me because I knew. You know that shit's real.
It's too
like,
real,
this movie's controversial for that. It's like the reason that PETA bitches about every movie now is because of this movie.
Yeah, right. Thanks, Cannibal Holocaust. You ruined it. And
not that PETA has no grounds
horses,
sometimes.
Even though they were all CG. Remember when that like the big upset with Braveheart horses or whatever? They're like, I can't believe they really stuck those horses with those pikes. And it's like, yeah, there's this new thing called CG, guys. We fake that.
Yeah, no. Have you heard of ILM or are you just, stupid?
Just like in that movie coming out next year called Anaconda, that snake's not real, so,
Right. They used a real anaconda and beat the shit out of it.
Wow, I
can't
believe they fucking really got an anaconda to like really wrap up people but not quite kill them.
How did it not kill John Voight?
Well, it spit him up, obviously. So.
I don't remember enough about that movie to know more about John Voight.
I could literally take you for a play-by-play of that entire movie. I watched that movie every day as a kid.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, the movie came out in like 1996, man. I was 10.
Did.
Yeah. I had no compass of quality, I'm just like, giant snake eating.
No, I didn't either. I saw it, but I saw it once.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to go watch Twister again.
Yeah, I mean, that was the better movie. I watched Twister more, too, but I could take you by play-by-play of that movie, too. We could do
funny.
We could do a dual night Kyle takes a play-by-play of Twister and Anaconda, and it'll be the most boring podcast ever, I guarantee it.
Commentaries are all the rage, dude. I would listen to a Kyle commentary on commentary with a K because it's stylish of Twister. That would be hilarious to me. Anaconda, that would be hilarious. Oh, that'd be great. Whenever we actually start a channel in 5 years, maybe we'll do it. I'm next in this round. Actually, I have the luxury again of being the middle centipede, so I'm eating the shit and I'm shitting the shit. So, Snowtown, it's just a better movie. It just is,
it is
on almost like every regard. Cannibal Holocaust, also what it did for filmmaking is it introduced the aspect of found footage to the world of filmmaking.
Was that really the very first one?
It was one. I think it was the first one. Yeah, because it was like a '70s movie. Yeah, so we have this one to blame for all the bullshit that we've been getting in found footage movies.
I hate this movie now. Thank you, New Creative Paranormal Activity. You gave us all this other bullshit that we still have today. Just thanks. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
I'm gonna vote for the one I haven't seen now.
You don't appreciate Paranormal Activities like 17 different ways to tell the same
Kyle and I debated
story.
that initially when he told me he didn't like the first one, which I liked the first one.
Yeah, I didn't mind the first one.
Yeah, you guys go jump off a cliff. So.
Now the camera's on the carousel. Let's go.
Oh my god! Go watch any YouTube video. It's more compelling than that fucking movie.
Unfortunately, it did come out in the age of YouTube. Unfortunately. Yes, that is true. And there's not a whole lot of sense to this.
What opened this cabinet door? Fishing string. That's what opened it. It's fishing string. I can answer that. It sucks.
But yeah, Cannibal Holocaust, there is a statement there, much like Salo has a statement, but Salo's is just more obvious, I think. Cannibal Holocaust is kind of like you got to wade through all the animal abuse and killing, which happens throughout the movie. It's spread out. Like in the first 20 minutes, a dude's cutting open a rat for real, killing it,
it's a turtle
or whatever that is.
I can't.
And then the turtle thing, that thing was when I I almost passed. Like I felt like I was gonna pass out. Like
dude, that's
blood
the worst.
was moving away from my head.
And it's not like, listen, we eat cows. Like we're all burger eaters. We're not vegans, So I know it's kind of hypocritical to be like, oh, I feel bad about this turtle while the chickens that we eat are fucking mutilated every day, This thing wasn't like like prepped for food. This thing was literally mutilated. You know, like it was just ripped apart and just debowed, and it's just gross, man. It's just not fucking.
It's fucking gross.
It's fucking horrifying to watch. You know,
if you're not a vet or something or training to be one, you shouldn't have to see any of that.
Yeah, never in your life.
It's just wrong. And the actors that I don't know if they had interviews after this, if they had qualms with doing all this stuff that they did for real. But fuck them for doing that.
Oh, yeah, you guys are sociopaths.
Say no to your director.
I would get checked out if you're not dead already.
Right. And even the director's like, shouldn't have used real animals. Really?
Yeah, no shit.
But Snowtown's just a more powerful movie. It's based on a real story. It's beautifully shot. Not a whole lot of snow in it, so it's a little bit of misadvertising.
That's the one I really wanted to get to. I'm really bummed. Like, I wasn't like really excited for gratuitous like
no snow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I would be really bummed. I wasn't really like pumped for like the gratuitous rape scene, but like I was.
Yeah.
Like that was the movie that sounded like of all the movies I didn't see that I was like, oh, like you know, that'd be a nice one to add to the library. You know,
it's definitely. It's definitely both enough of both column A and column B to where like it's a great movie, it's a well-made movie, and it's got disturbing shit in it because A, it's real, and they linger on the scenes that are fucked up quite a bit. It's just a well-shot movie. It's just an interesting story, and there's a lot of commentary there that could be relevant today in terms of these domestic terrorists that just preach fucking hate and commit violence, acts of violence. And that's what this dude was, just a neighborhood guy who was just like, fuck gay people, and just killed people that he suspected were gay and pedophiles and stuff, even though he didn't really have confirmation on that. He just fucking killed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great acting, too. It's a good movie, man. It's hard to say you'll enjoy it. It's not one of those. It's just a good movie. You know, I don't think anybody's going to enjoy any of these movies.
Well, again, 12 Years a Slave is a good movie. No one enjoys that movie.
No, yeah. Oh, man, I love that scene where he's hanging for 12 minutes
so
or whatever.
Fucking good. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
I love it.
He's like, you don't love that. I don't know how to explain to you how you should word things when it comes to movies.
Just like Requiem for a Dream, you're probably not going to enjoy that movie.
No.
You'll enjoy aspects of it, but it's not, like, enjoyable.
Yeah. That's the thing with movies. There's a movie that we'll get into later, and it's kind of poetic that it's fighting another movie that's kind of similar tonally, but in terms of questioning your enjoyment of a movie and whether it's too disturbing to enjoy and fighting that within yourself as you're watching the movie. Anyway, but Snowtown is my vote. We'll get into I'm previewing other rounds. JD, where are you going to vote on this travesty of a matchup?
Man, this one might be easier for me than I thought it was going into it. I'm not even going to lie. I just really don't want to talk about Cannibal Holocaust anymore. Like, at all. Like, I don't even want to fucking think about that movie
anymore. You're just going to kill that movie?
I'm just going to fucking kill that movie.
Fuck you, Cannibal Holocaust.
Look, my decision is the knife, and that movie's the fucking turtle. You're fucking going down, man. You're fucking going down. No, I'm not that. I'm not that vindictive about it, really. It's the visceral stuff is there. I mean, obviously, that's what sticks with me is the images and but Snowtown, man, really was a great movie. Just
it was
great fucking movie. I didn't expect it to be that good at all, and I knew it was based on real murders and an actual thing that happened. Very disappointed in the lack of snow, as you mentioned. That was a major letdown. But I just thought I can't remember the guy's name. That's the killer. What was his name?
Oh God, I can't remember either. Are you talking about the actual character name or the actor?
The character name?
The actor's great, by the way.
I
hadn't seen him in anything else before.
But just
John Bunting.
John Bunting.
That's his name.
Okay. Yeah. The scene where one of their crew reveals that he's let it slip to his wife about what they've been doing killed it for me. Watching the transition on his face go from a normal, everyday guy sitting around a table having a bunch of beers to that.
That's the thing. He was a normal dude.
He was just a fucking normal dude, man. And he was charming. He was likable. And like a lot of these type of figures that you see, you can't disagree with their genesis of. Let me flesh this out. Like, obviously, what they did was horrible. The way that he decided to deal with child molesters or gay people in that neighborhood.
It did start on a legitimate note.
It starts on a
he
very
saw his
legitimate
mother's, the lead kid's mother's boyfriend taking legitimate indecent pictures of the boys, which was started. I mean, that's the whole. That's in the movie too. That's very uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah. Oh man.
But I mean, so you're kind of like, oh, vigilantism, yay. Yeah. So I get you.
But it just really goes way too far. And like the "you killed my friend" line, that really hit. Like, you realize that he's shaping this kid into something that he doesn't even want to be. But
right,
man, Kyle, I really hope you watch it eventually. I don't want to.
I probably will. It's on my like actual watch list. It's not on like just homework list. So that rape scene though, Jesus, man, boy,
it's tough, dude. Because that's the thing is like it progresses out of nowhere, not in a way that Neon Demon out of nowhere takes a hard right, but like it's kind of out of nowhere where like it starts as a scene where it's just like playful a little bit, brothers being brothers,
right,
and then it turns into something else fucking entirely, and you're just like, fuck, wow, man. Like that's the world that these boys have been exposed to, And this is, Jesus Christ, dude. It's hard to even wrap my brain around so I can use words to explain it. It's a good watch, though. Like, I mean, it's not, I'm not saying you're going to enjoy it, but like, out of all these movies, a lot of these movies that we talk about, that's one of the ones that you'll watch and you'll come out the other end, you won't go, fuck that movie.
Yeah,
like, that movie made me so mad because of XYZ.
Right.
It's a good watch, for sure.
It's gritty and, you know, like we talked about in our group chat, it kind of feels like a docu. It really does feel like there was a camera there just following the whole thing. And
it's very grounded, yeah.
You know, it's
very grounded.
All the shit takes place in that neighborhood, and there's kids riding by on bicycles, and people just living their everyday lives, and that fucked up shit is happening right there, and it's very unsettling. It's one of those universal stories that, like, it took place in Australia, but that could happen anywhere in America.
Yeah.
It could be happening everywhere in America, and it probably is. God, man, that great movie. Don't know if I want to ever go back and rewatch it, though.
No, that's not. I mean, hardly any of these are ones that you're like, maybe watch it again.
Maybe just to reevaluate some of the performances and the subtleties that I might have missed while some of the fucked up shit was going on. But like, I'm never watching Cannibal Holocaust again. That's one and done. That's out.
I watched it 8 years ago, and I was not revisiting that one.
Do not blame you at all.
I get it.
Do not blame you at all. So
I like the ending of Cannibal Holocaust too, when they're like, they all agree, like the guy who found the footage and the news people, they watch the footage and they're like, all right, we're hiding this part of society because this is going to cause the biggest outrage imaginable. So that's what people do with these crimes. They tuck them under the rug.
Exactly.
So there's still a statement in the movie. It's cloudy because there's so much bullshit in the movie.
If I were like an anthropology or a sociology professor in college, I would show this fucking movie, like, on a volunteer basis.
Yeah,
like,
let's people just write their feelings on it, man.
Write a paper on this shit and tell me what you think it means to society, for sure.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's a good one to do that for sure.
So
but Snowtown moves on, is that right?
What's that?
Snowtown moves on, is that right?
Snowtown moves on, yeah. Would this be our first 15 over a 2-seed victory in
Absolutely, it would be.
EoC history? Worth it, though.
Yeah. All right, the next matchup is a little interesting. We have a 20-minute movie, which I don't know if that was a regular runtime at the 1920s or what.
It is, yep.
But we have number 10 seed, Unchinandulu. French, whatever. French movie, fake movie. Versus...
It's a freedom movie.
Number 7 seed, one of the most iconic movies of this genre, honestly, Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even a fucking contest,
How is this even a thing?
Right?
It's my fault.
It's like the one movie I did homework on because it was so easy to watch, and like we're gonna we're gonna get rid of it. Yeah.
And 10 versus 7 is... Oh, the JD starts this one, actually.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean... obviously, the French fake movie was on my list, so I liked it. But man, if I had seen a lot of these movies that y'all had on your list,
come on, you didn't like it. Come on.
No, I didn't. I liked it for my list. I mean, like,
oh, okay, good.
It was a good fit for the list.
Yeah, it was a good fit for the list.
It absolutely is. I agree with that.
I love people that shave eyeballs off with knives in opening sequences. Like, no, that's terrible. But on a smaller scale, it's kind of the same thing as Cannibal Holocaust, where it's just, not just, but in its own way, just relying on the imagery. And there's, like, you have no fucking idea what's going on at all. There's no substance there. It's just all images. But I appreciate that movie, and I ranked it higher on my list because I hadn't seen some of this other fucked up shit y'all made me watch. So it's Clockwork Orange for me.
And I hadn't seen this, so
but I'm glad
you put
you
it
guys
in there
got
so
to
I
watch
could
it.
watch where all the disturbing shit started.
Yeah. This was
thanks, France.
The genesis of it all.
Fucking thanks, France, for Mother. Yeah, because that's how evolution works. All right.
You're blaming Mother on this movie?
Yes.
Shit. Oh man, that makes me want to see Mother even more now.
Yeah.
It's like, you can blame the apes for the humans too if you wanted to. All right.
That's true.
So, Kyle, where are you going on this round?
I did my homework on this movie, and well deserved to be on this list or whatever. But Clockwork Orange will make you question your own morality, which is
absolutely
more than anything that you could ask a movie to do. You're questioning your morality. You should have a fucking set moral compass. Like you at no point should you ever be questioning it. But this movie, when you're done with it, you're like, was I cheering for that guy at the end of that movie?
Yeah.
The rapist? I was cheering for that guy? What the fuck?
He did murder and rape people, right? I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not fucking this up, right? And very, 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 very few movies ever achieve something like that. And this is the father of walking that line, I would say. So yeah,
absolutely,
it's going to be Clockwork Orange for me for sure.
You know why? Nobody does it better than Kubrick. That's why. Personal opinion aside and all, Kubrick's just the best director that ever existed. That's not true. You can't be personal opinion aside and then state a personal opinion.
I know, yeah. Personal opinion aside, this is a fact.
Based on my opinion. So Clockwork does move on. That was your vote, JD, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. I'm glad, because I like Clockwork, but I'm glad I also watched the... Me too. Because it was just... It was cool to take a peek down that I don't want to call it rabbit hole, but but back in time, basically, to where it all kind of started. I mean, it's kind of pure nonsense, but don't get me wrong, film schools are still studying this shit like it's profound.
Yeah.
I don't think it
is. I don't know.
Absolutely, stream of consciousness film, 100%. But I don't think it is all that profound, or there's anything.
Take acid.
There's a whole
and watch
lot
it.
there.
That's what I've heard to do. Take acid. And watch it.
That would be horrifying.
I've never.
Sounds like a funeral in the making.
That's the worst advice ever given on this podcast.
Well, look,
do not go do that. I completely condone anyone doing that. I do not condone anyone doing that.
I was saying that facetiously because, I've never done acid because my brain doesn't need any chemical enhancement to see and experience fucked up crazy shit. I don't need to hallucinate. I don't need that. But
oh god,
I'm pretty sure Salvador Dali was involved in some pretty heavy shit. So I do think from a experience standpoint, you probably got to be on that similar plane of reality to really get it. But you shouldn't need to be to appreciate something. So there's that.
No, you shouldn't. That's the thing. Oh my god, that's like my Gravity argument for the movie Gravity.
Oh yeah.
Is when people are like, well, you should have seen it in IMAX 3D. No, I fucking shouldn't have. It should have been a good movie on its own. Whatever. Anyway, people love that movie. I should not have shit on that.
I feel like
we talked shit about that on.
Because Jeff hates that movie so much. I don't hate that movie. I just don't like it either. I just don't hate it. Jeff, you hate. I don't hate. I don't hate
Gravity.
It feels like
I hate this. I hate the fan base of it. Like the people that are like, man, that's the best movie 2013 and stuff like that.
I feel
the people that just talk it up and you're like, what are you talking
about? Listen, I love that director. I think that director...
Me too.
Fucking did Children of Men. I mean, that movie's amazing. Yeah. I could never see Gravity again and my life would be completely fine. It's not... That movie didn't do much for me. It didn't offend me either. So, yeah.
It's not a home experience, and I can just say that much.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole... I'm sure people will say there's a lot happening, but there's really not a whole lot of character development. There's one character you're following.
It's Sandra Bullock crying in space for an hour and a half. Let's get real.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's
and
not
being motivated by
George
Clooney. Yeah. Who, of course, you'd be motivated by George Clooney. Listen to that silky smooth voice.
Yeah.
And
True.
She's just being motivated to make it back home. There's just not a whole lot going on there. I mean, I wish I could say the theme of this.
You can tell. You can tell conceptually it was a story derived from a series of images in the director's head. He wanted to create images and then throw the story in there, and that's fine.
There's that really great part of her spinning around. There's some great parts in the movie. I don't want to be taken wrong here. Like there's some great shit in the movie.
14 minutes of that movie is one shot. So
I didn't hate it.
Oh yeah,
I didn't.
Where she's spinning around without control. That is terrifying. That is fucking. Doesn't matter what screen you see it on. That's terrifying. She's just spinning around and she's like grasping at things to grab. There's nothing to grab onto. You're in space.
Right.
That's terrifying. I love that scene. Just everything else around it. There's just the whole movie. I'm just not. I just don't grasp onto movies that movies that are just survive. That's the theme of the movie is just survive. I know that's Dunkirk's theme. It's just that was just a better filmed movie. I'm sorry, it just was.
Dude, Dunkirk was almost perfect. Let's
pretty perfect.
Be real.
Honest. And I would say that movie is not about just surviving.
That's true. There is a lot going on there too, especially like questioning
about
who your enemy is.
It's about like there's a lot going on in that movie.
Look, there's only one direction you can go, and it's across. It's across the English Channel. And it's,
wait, no, was it a Jonas Brother? I thought you were making a One Direction boy band joke, but that was
that's him. I was.
It was a One Direction joke.
Oh, yeah, I caught it. All right.
Good
for you.
I deserve a whiskey.
There you go. I deserve
on that one.
There you go. Joke maker and joke taker. Let's cheers this fucking shit up.
Right.
Clockwork Orange moves on from this round, but I guarantee I'll have so much more to say on that one later on when it deserves it. So the next matchup is number 14 seed Last House on the Left. Not the shitty 2009 remake, the original with Wes Craven.
What did I know? But like before we get into what we ranked, because y'all hadn't seen this before, right?
Yeah,
I had not.
What did you think?
Still haven't seen it. So
this was one of the second to last ones I watched. So we'll get into it.
Okay.
But number 3 seed is Audition.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
This is honestly really a tougher round. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
I'm going first on this one, and oh man, this is really tough because I can't blame Last House on the Left or Wes Craven for that matter for not having all the resources he need to make the most visceral movie experience that you wanted out of this type of movie.
A lot of stiff acting. Very stiff.
Oh man, there's a ton of it. It's just so all bad. Extras acting in main parts. That's all it is.
Right.
And everything that's happening that's horrible is just implied. Like, when you have stabbings and the pulling out of guts and stuff like that, it's just all trickery and it looks like shit. Like it's just, I mean, I get it. I appreciate the take on it though. I can see why this spawned his career because this was his first movie. Because like it was ultimately, you don't discover this until like an hour and 10 minutes into it. Ultimately, it's a revenge movie,
right?
Which is what makes it really special. Is that the parents find out that these criminals. Sorry for spoilers on a 50-year-old movie, but these criminals that break loose from prison kill these 2 girls, and one of the girls' parents find out as these criminals are staying in their house, and they're like, you know what? Let's exact revenge on these fuckers, and the revenge is cruel.
Yeah,
and it is
nice.
Fucking sadistic, and it's great.
Watching the dad go like real life Home Alone with that shit.
Yeah,
like imagine Home Alone but for adults and people that killed your daughter. Like that. That's what he did throughout their house.
I can see honestly, I can see the logic in wanting to remake this movie. But it sounds like they didn't do it successfully because the girls lived in that movie.
Oh,
so
shit. I've never seen the remake.
Point. Yeah, exactly. There's like no fucking point to that movie.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's
great
stupid.
movie. Actually, I don't want to say great movie. Good movie.
Yeah.
Take that back. Dial it back a little bit. It's still worth watching, but Audition is the one that I was just glued to from the first fucking scene. And you just can't take your eyes off of it. And it's obviously this is going to be a hard one for people to for us to recommend to people because they're not going to come out the other side loving it. It's not guaranteed, at least. But still, there's just something there that's more coherent in the story and the character motivations, and there's a whole metaphor there as to why the girl in it is doing the thing she's doing in the third act. There's just a lot there to unpack in Audition that I feel like it deserves the vote, especially if you've seen. There's another Takashi Miike movie we're going to talk about when you see his growth as a filmmaker, you're just kind of like, yeah, Audition fucking deserves the vote. Like he just kind of mastered certain things behind the camera that are just it's just evident.
He's such a good director. He just so happens to direct like smut.
Yeah, it's torture smut.
But every
yeah,
once in a while, he'll do a
absolutely.
samurai movie, and it's the greatest thing ever. Go see fucking.
Oh yeah,
go see
that's what he's most known
13
for.
Assassins, you know, like,
13 Assassins is the mainstream movie from Takashi Miike.
Yeah.
That's the one that'll speak to most people.
Incredible. So
yeah. And that's the funny thing about that movie is like the thing that you'll get out of that movie that is very Miike in terms of disturbing is the person that is either quadriplegic or paraplegic.
Yeah.
Who comes out, has no tongue, and is just drooling, and you're like, that's Miike.
Yep, that's literally in one like imagery, like that's
Audition.
It.
That's all of them. That's all of them combined in one scene, and it's fucked up. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go Audition here. It's just a well-rounded, better-made, progressive movie. Last House on the Left certainly launched a career. Obviously, we wouldn't have Scream without this movie. We wouldn't have. I know people love Nightmare on Elm Street. That we wouldn't have that shit without this movie. So I gotta give it its due, but Audition is just a better made movie and easier to recommend, especially that first hour or so. It's just so good to watch. It's so enjoyable to watch that first whatever before the third act. You might turn it off in the third act. I wouldn't blame you, but still, it's just better made. Anyway. We're going to go to, on this round, I already lost my place, man. JD is next.
Oh, cool. Well, Audition was a new one for me. And you guys sold it appropriately. You were like,
thank God.
It's a really normal, good movie for about like an hour 10. And then, I think I snuck in like 30-ish minutes before we recorded our last episode, and I was like, this isn't so bad.
I'm sure I stopped you at the right time.
This guy's trying to find his girlfriend, and it's cute. You know?
This is like once. It's so adorable. No. This is not a love story by any stretch of the imagination.
I may never love again after this movie.
Well, I mean, it makes me rethink that whole online dating thing, which is basically auditions on your phone that you can just swipe left and right for, but. Jesus, man, that movie was fucking insane, absolutely fucking insane. But
right,
the reason why it is our third seed appropriately is that it's just a damn good movie, and it hits every note in that final act on the fucked up scale. And I mean, I love Last House on the Left. It was a classic movie. I'm still glad that I put that on my list. But yeah, there's nothing about it that's going to make me vote for it over Audition. So,
I hear you. So I'm glad it moves through by a majority. I know that Last House on the Left was your pick. I'm going to pull a Kyle. While I go pee, Kyle, why don't you talk about what you would have voted for in this round?
Cool.
BRB.
Last House on the Left or Audition? Well, I'm probably going to go with the movie that I saw.
Ah, dude, that's interesting.
That's
interesting.
So yeah, I know. It's a real goddamn brain buster there. I don't know. I just really liked Audition. You know, it's just like what everything that you guys already said. It's just a good movie. It's one of those movies where it takes a big old turn, but it's not an unearned turn. Like it's you know what you're watching. I mean,
it's telegraphed.
The front cover of that movie is the girl with like drilling apparatuses in her hands, and like a kill apron and stuff like that. So it's just like, it's going to take a turn. You just don't know when. But when you start that movie, you don't realize you're watching the movie you think you're watching. Like you were saying, you're like, I don't know, I saw 30 minutes. It wasn't that bad. Yeah, you get there. You get there.
Got it.
But you get some scenes in that movie that are just unlike anything that you see anywhere. They're very visceral, very gratuitous. It's very disturbing, and I mean, it's not. Audition's not a movie I've gone back and revisited, but it is a movie I probably will revisit in my life because I remember enjoying it so much.
Man, I think
I'm back, by the way. It's the fucking wine, man.
You pee quickly. That's official.
Yeah, that's crazy. I would have been in there I can't get the stream started immediately.
Y'all would be on the next round by the time I got
I know, yeah. Like, where the fuck is Kyle? I'm like,
Man, I thought it was the whole like paralyzing somebody to the point where they can't feel anything, but they're conscious.
They're
like
aware.
that.
Yeah.
That is a very real fear of mine. Like I've never had anything medical that required surgery or going under or anything, but
that has to have
fucking
happened.
Terrifying.
That has to have happened for real
It
to
happens
both
all the
of
time
you
with an anesthetic.
because of sleep paralysis.
Oh,
like that's one of
absolutely.
those terrifying moments that
But that's always
inexplicably
like-
happens to you.
That's always like what's in your head is still in your head, but you're awake and you know
Yeah.
you're awake, but you know that your body wants to react to what your subconscious is still showing you. And that moment of fear, the great thing about that is that when you wake up, that memory is fleeting, so it doesn't stick with you, so it's not haunted.
Right.
But like
Exactly.
in a situation like surgery or being tortured or something like that, I mean
God,
that's not the same thing because that's chemically induced, man. That's gonna, if you live, that's sticking with you forever. Like that ain't going away. That's some fucked up shit.
It's fucking terrifying. All right, so audition moves on. Honestly, that was a tough one in my head, but as I talked it out,
Man,
audition
it
made
was,
sense.
but I mean, come on, let's be honest. As good as Last House is, it's just not the greatest quality of movie.
No,
and-
it's not. Even
and-
like the best copy I found of it, it was like it just looked fucking terrible.
Yeah,
like he
it
had
really
no
did.
budget for this movie.
No, he didn't. But I still
He had less
appreciate
of a
it from
budget than
legacy
Primer,
standpoint,
probably.
though. Oh, they had $6,500 and not adjusted for inflation.
They had $6,999. It was crazy. So the next matchup, this is the one I was talking about, where it's like teetering on entertaining, and you feel wrong about it. It's Ichi the Killer, number 11 seed, versus Funny Games, number 6.
Oh, jeez.
Jesus, these are some fucked up. I mean, these are all fucked up movies, but these two are fucked
Real
up.
fucked up.
I'm glad the two of you go first on this one because I didn't get to Ichi.
Oh, that's fine. You got the Funny Games though with Naomi Watts, right?
I
That
did.
version?
Well,
I did.
Sorry.
God
The
damn.
wine is making me slur and shit. Kyle, go ahead.
God
your piece.
damn it, by the way. God damn it. In my life, I'm going to go back and watch Ichi more, which may say too much about me.
That does already. Yeah, I'm questioning this podcast.
Yeah, it might, but I just get, because Ichi's at least fun, like it's depraved, but like there's also a lot of fun. There is absolutely nothing fun about Funny Games.
No.
It says it in the title, but it doesn't deliver on that at all. There's nothing funny about it. There's nothing fun. But it is fucking quintessential disturbing. Like, it is just like, it's what you think of when you think of like, hey, what's a disturbing movie? Oh, I don't know, that movie about a home invasion where they make this couple and their baby do really fucked up things. Jeez. I think I'm gonna go. If you're trying to get spooked, and Funny Games isn't like a fucking there's it's a watchable movie. Naomi Watts is in it. Like, it's well acted. Like, there's a lot going for it. Probably go Funny Games. I think it's just the more disturbing movie. I think it's gonna spook you out a lot more. It's gonna make you a lot more uncomfortable. While Ichi the Killer, it's just not gonna be for everybody.
No, it's not.
It's not going to be for everybody.
Me, only half hour in, it wasn't for me.
Yeah,
I get it. I get that. I get that statement that you just said. So am I fucking next? God,
You are.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess it's kind of okay to make this a majority early because JD hasn't seen Ichi.
Yeah.
I saw the first half hour of Ichi the Killer, and there's a dude jerking off to a prostitute being beat up.
Jesus.
Yeah.
There's a dude that's hanging from like I don't want meat hooks. Is that right? It's kind of like meat hooks, but he's hanging vertically, right? So it's like stomach down.
Yeah.
It's not like he's being hung by his shoulders like you normally see in shitty mainstream horror movies.
Yeah.
It's the worst way you could be hung by meat hooks, basically. And they pour boiling water on him, and you see the fucking burns and shit. And what happens after that? Oh, Ichi is determined to be wrong in torturing this guy, so he cuts off his tongue. And it's very, like, in the moment, just like kind of like Old Boy was, where it's like zoomed in on the tongue, and he's doing it with a sword, and you see all the blood, and it looks real, and it's just not for me. It's just not for me at all.
So this was all in the first 30 minutes?
Yes!
The first 30 minutes.
Motherfucker!
Yeah, that movie is really fucked up.
I didn't feel the need to make... I don't want to say I didn't have time. I didn't feel the need to make time to finish the movie.
Like pedestrian shit in that movie too.
Jesus, man.
That's like literally the baby shit in that movie.
So this is not my
training wheels didn't even come off yet. Yeah.
This is not my. I need to save this one for a fucking rainy day and just watch it and experience it.
I mean, I think you should. I mean, like I said, this is a lot of me. I like the movie. I think it's fucking hilarious. I think it's fucking ridiculous.
I mean,
I think some scenes, whenever I go back and rewatch it, I skip. I'm just
I get that.
I know what goes on here. Let me just get past this scene. I think
on a 420
that,
level, will I appreciate it?
What? Say again?
On a 420 level, well, do you think I'll appreciate
100%.
it?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
100%.
All right.
1,000%. Yeah.
Okay. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say that for sure.
Whatever.
With Funny Games, I mean, I feel like both of these are going for a tone where it's entertaining, but you feel like compromised, that you enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like there's disturbing shit happening, but it's over. Like in Ichi, there's a lot of like quick cuts, kind of like Edgar Wright, and fun music happening, like kind of techno-ish, but there's more of like a hard rock edge to it. So it's going for a fun element, and I see what it's going for. And then in Funny Games, it's just the magnetic performance of fucking Michael Pitt, dude. He's the main intruder.
Man, he's so good.
And he's so entertaining to watch. That's the thing with that movie. It makes you like second guess like everything about yourself. You were watching it and you're like, I'm fucking like glued to this movie and I'm into it, and it's wrong. And it's totally wrong. Tim Roth and Naomi Watts, you feel their terror. They're definitely displaying it. But you're almost kind of like, for me at least, I was kind of rooting for Michael Pitt because like he was working so hard at it and such a natural, and he's doing it. By the end of the movie, you're kind of guessing that he's just going door to door and doing it. I don't know. He's just such a natural. Like it's such a great role for him. And I'm always, by the end of it, bummed that he didn't turn into like this world-renowned actor that everybody just celebrates at the box office or something. But I'm gonna go with Funny Games. I think it's just a movie that people can grasp onto more easily. Like if we're talking about movies that we would recommend to people watch, especially like this falls in more of column A and B than Ichi does. Ichi is more disturbing and a little less of a movie that would speak to more people. So I'm going to go with Funny Games on this one. So that moves through ultimately. JD, what did you think of Funny Games?
Man, I loved it. I think I'm going to save a lot of the specifics for
the quarterfinals. I got you.
Yeah, but I totally agree with you. Michael Pitt is the standout. Even the throwaway guy, Jerry, or was he Tom? I don't remember how the nickname.
I honestly don't remember shit about the second guy.
But I knew him from somewhere, and I went and looked through his IMDb. He was I think he was one of the kidnappers in the first season of 24. That's what it was.
Really?
He was one of the guys that kidnapped his daughter.
Okay. So I'm looking at him now.
He has a knack for kidnapping, but he's never been in anything other than that I know. But man, the dynamic between the two is great. They had that kind of manic, just off their rocker, but very in control. They had their rules.
Yeah.
And I like that. It was really good.
Well, I saw this movie after I saw Dark Knight, and I saw a lot of Jokerisms in this movie.
Yes.
It's kind of weird to say that, but this was when that kind of style of acting and writing was kind of hip. So I saw it like in 2009 or 10, and I was kind of watching it going, oh, there's a lot of Joker and just, like you said, manic, just bred for chaos type of behavior in this.
They're just playing games. I mean, that's what this is to them. It is a game. Right. It's not real. The stakes are not real to them.
And the ending that just says is a giant middle finger to the audience is so... I thought that was great. Dude, like, I thought that was fucking brilliant.
Man, and I think that was in the original as well, from what I've read.
Was it?
That technique, yeah.
Oh, okay. The rewind and fuck you, audience. You're not going to get what you want. Yeah.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
So good. I love that. That was ballsy. It was good. So that moves us to the quarterfinals. This first matchup, I don't know if it'll be all that challenging, honestly, because now we're moving into the realm of arguing the specifics of, like, what do we want people to watch? You know? So this is Old Boy versus Salo. Here we go. Quarterfinals.
Oh man.
Yeah, this round brought to you by shit.
Brought to you by literal shit.
God.
First up, we have JD.
Oh my God.
Are you okay, dude? You gonna die?
Hold on. I need another. You can die.
Dude, I've been drinking so much wine. I'm over here like I talk when I drink wine.
I'm like laying on my bed. I'm so drunk right now. So,
we're all fucking like trying to get through this like a therapy
I pounded
session.
that whiskey so quick, and I'm like,
True story. I'm drunk every episode we ever do, one way or another. So I'm like,
okay. Now we're on JD's page. Then
hey,
I feel better about this. Then
fuck you guys for making me the responsible one in this episode. I enjoy being the wild card. That doesn't make sense half the goddamn time, but man, I mean, obviously, Old Boy is it's a more enjoyable movie, undoubtedly. We gonna knock out our fucking number one seed in this round, boys? Are we gonna fucking do that?
Look, I am 100% on board with that. I'm not voting right now.
I know.
Until third. Yeah, I don't get to say I'm not voting, so right now.
I mean, no, Kyle, you're next. But
I know,
but
I'm not now though. So I can't
okay.
Say. I don't want to influence.
Yeah, that's true. I want to try to keep it honest, but at the same time, I'm just letting you know whatever happens.
Because I can view this. I can view this on two ways, and here's my prioritization. It's fucked up first, and then quality of movie at a very close second.
Kind of how I'm doing it as well.
Because I mean, it is most disturbing movies, and yeah, we want a good movie to make it all the way through to the end. I don't know if I'm ready for Old Boy to be out of this though, because that's some fucked up shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I don't want to do this, but let's break Salo down. No, I'm kidding.
So scene 3, Act 4.
Look,
when he nibbles on that poo-poo.
Yeah.
What is he really trying to say with that camera?
What's he saying? All right, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck Salo. Fuck you guys for making me watch that movie. It's Old Boy. It's fucking Old Boy. I don't care. Salo is the most disturbing goddamn movie I've ever seen, and I can't wait to troll everybody in my life into watching it.
So my favorite thing is tell couples to watch it on Valentine's Day.
Yes, that's what he does. That is absolutely what he does.
It's nice. It's good.
We should just make that a page. I mean, we're going to say it here, and if you don't listen to this podcast and you don't learn ahead of time, that's your own fault.
Yeah.
We're going to say it here. We're going to promote Salo as the Valentine's Day movie of the year.
Let's do it.
Please.
When it's Valentine's Day next year.
I'm going to double down on it, yeah.
And if you fall for it, that's on you.
Yeah, and I hope you do. I hope you're a big old dummy. So
there's two elements to it. Because if you get the person that's like, oh, I got 5 minutes into that, fuck you guys, I stopped. Like, that's
true, because they do
that's
analyze
normal.
like teenage genitals at the very beginning of that movie. So,
but if you get the person that's like, man, I got all the way to the fucking circle of blood, that shit was fucked up. Like, you're just fucked up. Like, you.
Right.
That means somebody put something in front of you.
I realized I had been bamboozled.
It was about that time.
Oh my god, JD, did you finish the movie? I'm fucking surprised. You got all the way through it without skipping any scenes?
Dude, I didn't skip shit, man. I was determined to force through it. And
I couldn't even. I got half an hour through it, and then I started skipping around because I was fucking tired of it.
Look,
I was like, this is a beating.
But you had already seen it, right?
No.
So your first time. You haven't seen the whole movie?
No.
Oh,
I have not seen the whole movie in its entirety without skipping scenes.
No, I watched all of it. It was 1080p, bro.
Yeah, right. It's a lot. I watched it with about 8 or 10 guys, like in my apartment or whatever.
In your hotel room
about this, Kyle. It's hilarious.
Forcing like smoke. I'm gonna go smoke another cigarette. You just came back in. Fuck this movie, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck that movie.
And by the end of it, by the time like the fucking montage of fucking awfulness at the end. Everyone just walked out, except me and like 2 people who were just like, I just got to see this through. And I was like, that may have chipped a little bit off my soul. That may have like...
I get that.
Yeah,
it did, but
this may have stained me a little bit. You know?
I wanted
but
the
this
full
also...
chip.
I was going to say, like, Kyle, like you mentioned in the last episode, this kind of destroys your will to seek out movies like this.
It does,
You might have at that point been like, maybe I should watch more movies similar to this tonally, I guess. Not Salo necessarily, but... You were kind of seeking those out at the moment.
I was
and then you see the movie and you're like, oh, never mind. Fuck that. I'm not doing any of that.
This is how deep the rabbit hole goes. I was not ready for that.
Yeah,
I really thought I was prepared for it, but Yeah, it goes too deep for me. We're gonna.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think being able to step back and realize none of this is actually happening. Like it doesn't have that Cannibal Holocaust effect where you have that element of like, oh shit, that's actually happening to that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing that the poop was like chocolate and marmalade and stuff. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
But approaching it, I mean, I did a lot of research before I watched it. A lot of research from a production level and then just from a story standpoint, so I knew what to expect. It was just a matter of putting those images into my brain. It made it more tolerable, and I will definitely say that the night that I watched it, it wasn't that bad. It was when I woke up the next morning and I was still thinking about it, that's when I fucking hated myself.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is I'm really glad I jerked off before I watched that movie, because if I had done it afterwards, I'd have been really fucked up.
You would have had to probably
really
go to
fucked up
or something. Yeah, I feel that.
But I mean, Old Boy is just a better movie, and it does hit it on that disturbing level. So let's just put it through. Let's just get rid of this shit.
Kyle, did you vote Old Boy or?
No, I'm gonna vote Sailor to make you vote.
Oh my god.
Because the thing about Salo is while I think Old Boy's a way better movie. Obviously, I think that you can still take something away from Salo.
This is true.
Like it's
Probably
not
herpes,
like
but...
it's not absent of just like point. You know, like there's a point that's trying to be made.
True.
It's not the most subtle of points, but it's a point. You know, and you're taking away, and it's something like I said to this day. I'm just like, wow, that's really relevant, you know, just the stuff that's going on in Hollywood right now and everything that's going on. It's just, power corrupts people and power makes people adopt kids and make them eat shit, apparently. So,
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, so that's, it's scary. So I'm going to go Salo. I'm going to put Jeff in a position to choose, so.
I hate this. I hate every second of this moment right now.
I just didn't want to make a decision, so I'm just happy that...
So you would have gone the opposite of whatever I went with just for the sake of it. I like it.
Maybe. I mean, I'm no fucking. I can't tell what the other dimension ourselves are doing right now during this podcast. All right.
Oh, Schrodinger's cat is having a fucking this right now.
I'm gonna go ahead and apologize for not voting Salo because, Old Boy might be the more mainstream pick, but it's also a movie that does have disturbing elements in it that we can't ignore. We can't just, throw it away because the movie's fucking great. It is great, but it also has a dude eating a live animal. I mean, according to production notes, which you don't know in advance. Watched it.
Now that I do, it's even more fucked up.
It is, but it's still fucked up in the moment. You don't need to know that. It's so fucked up that it's happening, and you can tell that it's actually happening. There's no animatronics there. You can just tell.
Or it's the best animatronics ever.
That's true. Like, even George Lucas hasn't discovered this shit yet.
I think there's a fucking Muppet coming out of its mouth.
ILM wins for the squid in Old Boy. Like, what?
But even before that, when he's trapped in the room, he has all these visions and stuff and fucked up things that he's seeing. There's some stuff that you're kind of like questioning, like what is happening in this movie? And then of course the whole entire motivation for the bad guy that we talked about before, where it's just he's just motivated by the fact that our lead guy that we've been following this whole time discovered that our villain was in love with. This is a spoiler on the whole movie, but I don't fucking know anymore. Wine makes me not care.
Spoiled this movie so many times, yeah.
Right. But the villain had relations with his sister.
Lannister.
Right? Sister.
Yeah, his own sister, not like.
And it wasn't like this is our dirty little secret. It was like they loved each other.
Right.
So the lead guy that we've been following and thinking is our good guy the whole time, snitched on them. Sister killed herself. Brother's been seeking revenge the whole time. For fucking years.
But the main character never thought anything of it. He was just like, oh, well, yeah, she ended up killing, like he never even thought about that guy or that girl
of course not.
All these years later. It was just one of those things where in your life it means nothing, but it creates this like massive ripple into somebody else's life and ruins it,
I'm gonna have to go with Old Boy, man. That premise is disturbing on itself. Whereas Salo is like, hey, let's just, from the first scene, it's just like, let's just pick these kids up and fuck them up real quick. There's just not a whole lot more to the plot than that. There's certainly a message there. I'm not discounting that at all. But, like, Old Boy has just a more thought out plot, and it has disturbing shit in it, and people can watch it and come out at the other end and going, "This is one of my favorite movies ever."
Yeah,
they could feel that way. You know,
is
like
one of mine, dude. I'm not even kidding. Like top 15, top 20, sometimes even in my top 10, depending on the year. You know, it's just like I love this movie. It's so good.
Awesome. That's awesome, and I'm glad it's. I'm obviously for obvious reasons. I'm glad it's moving forward, but the fact that monumental, a number 8 seed beating a number 1 seed this early.
Yeah.
So then we move on to the next round here. This is Requiem for a Dream versus Hard Candy.
Ooh, fuck this.
Yeah, it's a tough one, right? Even on paper, it's just fucking tough. So I'm first on this one, unfortunately. Unfortunately. And while Hard Candy's fresh in my brain, but Requiem, I saw once in 2004, whenever I worked at Blockbuster and got free rentals all the time, and took recommendations from my manager, who was like, "Why are you recommending this shit to me? This is the worst shit I could possibly see at this age." Now that I think about it, but Requiem, I have not seen since then, and I still remember most beats of that movie.
Yep.
Exactly. That's the thing with that movie, and Aronofsky movies will probably, to this day, or to 20 years from this day from now, stick with people, is that like you see them, you need to see them once, and then you're good. And there's disturbing shit in it, yes. And it's not necessarily something that, like a Marvel movie where it's just colors and pew-pew and it's fun and you enjoy it.
Language.
And you want to see it again.
Language.
There's none of that feeling. Language. Why did I trump that?
I don't know.
Language. Hey, language, don't fucking cuss. So I'm gonna go with Requiem for this one. I mean, Hard Candy argued in favor of its filmmaking and dialogue in the last one. Requiem has all of that on top of disturbing shit.
Yeah,
so
it does. Come on, man.
I'm gonna have to go with Requiem.
Come on, man.
On this one. So JD is next.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Hard Candy is new love for me. That's a really weird term.
You love who you love.
You love.
Because
you love. Even if they're 14-year-old girls and you're in your mid-30s, that's totally fine. It's fine.
God,
it's fine.
Look, it's not fine.
Like, did I talk about pedophilia earlier? I feel like I shouldn't have done that.
What, when you were...
Earlier, did I dive into pedophilia earlier? I should feel like I shouldn't have done that.
Well, no, you didn't. Well, yeah, you labeled it as mental illness, and you're not wrong. It is mental illness.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's kind of beautiful. No, I'm fucking kidding.
Oh, fucking God.
I quit. I'm quitting.
Look, the story of Hard Candy is of two star-crossed lovers that deserve to be together, and one of them goes crazy because she's a woman. Like, that's what I took out of that movie.
What?
Oh, man. No.
Oh, my God.
No.
Oh, man. I take you 100% seriously in that statement, and
you should.
We should all condemn you for it.
You should.
Obviously.
You should. I should be fired from this podcast right now. What am I going to do without the paycheck? God damn it.
Right.
I don't know.
From all the sponsors, like Febreze and fucking Tide or something.
And shit.
And literal human shit.
Human shit. God, that residual check is really going to be missed.
Oh, Jesus.
But seriously, like, I really, really, really liked Hard Candy as a movie, and I was very surprised at how good quality it was. But Requiem, for reasons we've already spoken about multiple times, is one that's going to stick with me forever. And I can rewatch it, not often, but it's one of those like twice a decade kind of movies for me.
I hear you.
Where I need that reminder. I do need that reminder every now and then of what I enjoyed about it. Because I remember a day when Jared Leto was more famous for being a musician than an actor. And this movie was like right around that same time, and I'm like, oh, that's that 30 Seconds to Mars guy that I've got like the fucking Street Team demo of in my bag right now. You guys remember Street Teams? Where like you could go on the internet and sign up to be on a band Street Team, and you get like 100 demo discs and stickers and all this shit to pass out to people.
I do remember that.
Linkin Park was like my first big one, but 30 Seconds to Mars was one of my first ones. And somewhere in a storage unit, there's a box with like 100 fucking CDs and 100 fucking stickers that I never passed out. for 30 Seconds to Mars somewhere.
When I joined the band in 2006, it was 1,000 Miles from Home, the number 1,000.
Yes.
And yeah, we tried the street team thing too, but it just obviously didn't pan out because that
tough.
was phasing out.
Yeah,
right
well,
when
the internet was growing, and it was using the internet as its delivery mechanism. But like, when you can start advertising yourself on all these social media platforms, what do you need fucking scrubs handing out bumper stickers for? Why? What do you need that? Really?
Makes no sense.
It makes
Put
no
stickers
sense
on
at
phone poles. It doesn't fucking matter anymore.
No sense at all. But
no.
Yeah, major segue. Sorry, it's Requiem for a Dream for me because I love it.
Totally relevant. Relevant to what you were just saying.
Yeah,
all right,
it's
cool.
It's a beautiful lie. That's all I know.
It's so perfect.
Yesterday. Oh, we're not doing 30 Seconds to Mars. Okay. Hold on.
That's a good music video from yesterday, man.
Hold on, let me do this.
Very
What if we went to the next round?
What it's a break. Am I gonna mayor 30 Seconds to Mars now?
Do you remember? Were you there when I kept going back into 30 Seconds to Mars? The kill in one of my songs that I wrote.
Was that an Intrinsic?
It was, yeah.
I think so, because I mean that. Oh my god!
Because I was like, oh shit, it's the same chord.
Is the same
so I
progression.
kept going, come.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Break me down. It was like, fuck. God damn it. I ruined my own song that I wrote that I put fucking
oh my god.
me into.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I thought of the kill and went, can't do the song anymore.
Oh my god.
Fuck.
It's great. I love it.
Anyway, Kyle, would you have voted Requiem for this one too?
Yeah, I would have. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we should just move on to the next round then, because we're going late because of fucking alcohol. So
worth it though. This is the
next
if
round.
There's ever a subject we're all going to get sloshed on, it has to be.
It's this one.
I'm glad you
this
got
one
with me,
deserves
man.
it. Why are we going to
company
get drunk
now.
for superhero comic book movies? when
I
that
like
one's
Thor so much, and he fucking shoots lightning.
You guys don't like the Dark World? Well, fuck you. That elf is the shit.
You know, like,
All
they
right,
fucking hit each other through time portals, and it's just really underappreciated,
Have you guys ever thought that the Hulk's costume is just impractical? Like, why does he even wear pants?
Can I make a serious point? Because Kyle brought it up.
Sure.
That portal scene is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's all I gotta say.
Okay.
All right, anyway. The next matchup is the Clockwork Yellow, no wait, Brown, no wait, Black, no
Get
wait,
your
Orange,
color spectrum right.
versus Snowden, no wait, Snowtown. All right.
Wait, Snowtown versus what?
The Clockwork
Okay,
Orange.
gotcha, okay.
It's a fucking alcohol, dude.
Is that Snowtown
slur.
with Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Is that
Yeah.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
Sweet.
And also, Dickless Cage is in that movie. For
Dickless.
some reason. I don't fucking know why. At all. Let me tell you, kid, about the fucking CIA. I don't fucking know why he's in that movie.
I could hack a network
crazy.
for hours.
Oh, man. I drank the whole bottle.
No,
All right,
you didn't.
Here we go.
Jesus, man. I'm like 2 fingers into this bottle of Jameson right now. What does that even mean? That sounded really dirty.
Like, yeah,
you do have small fingers, though.
But I'm about 3
I don't
fingers
think
in
so.
right now. Wait, what?
Kyle, I heard you like to use all your fingers, bruh.
I'm about 3 18-year-old penises into my drink right now. All right, so here we go.
What?
This is a new mixed drink. It's called a Salo.
Fuck.
What would be in that? Hold on.
We're never getting to the finals.
What would be in that
We're
drink?
never getting there.
What would be in the Salo? No, let's not do that.
What would be in a Salo?
Yeah,
Literally
what would it
shit,
be?
Obviously.
Yeah, you
That's
got
just shit juice.
You got burnt penis embers. You got that's the garnish around the rim. Burnt penis embers. So you got
embers.
Like they catch the bits that
my
fly off and
God.
fire, and then they sprinkle it along the edge.
I'm hurting. Oh, people that hate that we try to make each other laugh are gonna fucking hate this episode.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, they're not even
man.
2.5 hours of just us.
They're not even
I will
here.
post this episode and downvote it myself. Fuck this.
But you know what?
right.
This is a movie. It's disturbing. It's a disturbing movie episode, and this episode of our podcast should be disturbing. It should be tough to get through.
Should be.
You should have to
We're gonna
earn
make
it.
fucked up jokes
Because we're not
yes.
actually drunk. We're just getting to the last round. We're going to hop back on our feet.
I mean,
and be like,
I'm
"Oh, it's a
legitimately
gag."
drunk. I'm worried about how I'm going to get dinner later. So here we go.
Yeah.
Dude, Uber Eats, bro. Seriously. Don't go
I'm so
anywhere.
worried about a lot of things right
Public
now.
service announcement. Don't drive drunk.
How are people
Like,
going to feel
if I
about our
sit up
stance on
too quick,
pedophilia? How are people
or-
going to feel? All right. Okay, here we go. Snowtown versus Clockwork Orange. And first up is Kyle.
Didn't see one of those movies, so I gotta choose Clockwork Orange. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
I get you. All right, so I'm next, and Kubrick is the god of all things behind the camera, so Clockwork Orange goes through. Snowtown is really great. We already talked about it. JD, how would you have voted?
Yeah, speed round, love Snowtown, really good. Clockwork Orange wins it. Singing in the Rain, good.
All right, I'm going to type
Wait,
in
was
Clockwork Orange
that
while
a
we go to the
third
next
comment
round.
that Singing in the Rain also good, or just...
It's a dual comment. It's a dual comment. It's my
Both the movie and the song
It's my
choice
favorite
is just really
aspect
smart.
of the movie, and it's a great fucking musical. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
Dude,
Yeah, there we
it's
go.
Easy top 3 material. That
Absolutely.
fucking musical.
Absolutely.
Amazing musical.
I love good stuff.
I can't put it up above West Side Story, but that'll be a different podcast whenever
You're
we get
such
there.
you're such a jet. You fucking such a jet.
When you're a jet, you're a jet. All right, so here we go. I picked up the mic and started singing. When you're a jet. All right. Okay, here we go. So Clockwork moves forward. JD, Clockwork. So Audition versus Funny Games.
Wow.
So how do you audition for the funny... No, I'm just kidding. That's not the question. So between these two, JD, where would you vote?
Man, I didn't think about this as a potential matchup down the road. So
Well, fucking think about it right now.
I'm thinking
What's
about
happening?
I'm thinking about it right now, and I'm trying to do it quick. But god damn it, I love the disturbing elements of Funny Games, but I think they're more tension based rather than like overtly visual. Like in Audition, like there's just some fucked up shit that happens. But like the most tense scene for me is when, and this, should I spoil it? Should we do it?
Which movie is this? Sorry.
Funny Games.
Yes, go
Okay.
ahead. I don't care.
I mean, it's been made twice.
It's a 1997
If you
movie that was
haven't seen it,
remade
yeah.
10 years ago.
So,
who cares?
after the boy gets shot and his shit splattered across everywhere, and you see his bleeding body by the television, and the dad's knees blown out on the ground, when Naomi Watts is tied up and watching her just trying to get up after the killers leave for a second, that's some of the most riveting shit I've ever seen. That long take was incredible. But man, I think Audition does that last half kind of went out from a most disturbing standpoint because it's a very good movie in and of itself, and Funny Games is good too. I love Michael Pitt's performance. Actually, all theirs are just fantastic. But I think,
dude. Tim Roth telling his wife it's going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not.
Kills me,
not.
dude.
And
it's not.
And
you know it's not as a viewer.
The desperate measures that they take to get that cell phone to work, and then he finally gets it to work, but you can't. I don't know. Maybe my volume was down. I wasn't listening with headphones, but like I couldn't hear anything on the other end of those phone calls that were getting there. So I didn't know if anybody was actually there or not, or could hear him, or man. But I mean, it's tension filled. And it's great acting all around, but I think Audition is just more fucked up. Like, that's just demented as shit in that third act. So I'm going to go Audition. Love Funny Games, though. And I can't wait to watch the original. Cannot wait to watch the original.
Oh, dude, I'm actually kind of excited for that, too.
I have that by mistake, so let's just do it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Why not?
Watch it. Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I will.
You're the one that's in possession of it more than me and Kyle are, so fuck it.
Yeah, and if it's good, I will share it with you.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Totally legally, 100%.
Absolutely.
All right, so Kyle, where are you going to vote on this one?
It'll be Audition for me. It's just a more watchable movie to me, and you're gonna get again both column A and column B. You're gonna get the quality movie, and you're gonna get some like, moments where you're turning away from the TV. So
yes, absolutely.
A movie that can make me wince in my 30s. It takes more than just Hostel or something like that. It's like this movie really earns its
That's more than
moments.
slicing your goddamn ankles, man. That's the most fucked up thing I remember from Hostel was the ankles being slit.
Same here.
Yeah.
And that does freak me out. Yeah.
'Cause, I mean that's god damn it.
But then it's comical from there. Like he's doing a lot of shit after
Yeah,
that. So
it
it's
is.
just like
It is.
it's not I can't I can't get with that movie, dude.
No.
Eli Roth just infuriates me as a filmmaker.
Makes me too. Like the only movie that I like, which I almost made my list, was Cabin Fever, because I have a thing for skin stuff, like skin falling off and skin eroding.
Dude, that's all. Here's two things I remember from that movie: the girl shaving her legs to the point where she's like just shaving off her skin.
Yeah, with the razor blade. Yep.
Right.
Jesus.
And the second part is the fact that Sean from Boy Meets World is in it.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
That's literally all I remember from that movie too.
I need to go watch. Do I need to go watch this?
I don't hate that movie, and like if you're gonna put all of his movies on a judging thing or whatever, that's probably one of his better ones, I guess, which is not saying much.
I guess.
But
you're right.
No, JD, I wouldn't go out of your way to see it, but like you're gonna see some it's some of the grossest imagery I've seen. Like I'm surprised. It probably would have made my list if I would have thought about it while making it, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. I hear that, but it's definitely something that I would not have persuaded JD to watch before the bracket episode for sure. Because I did see that around the time that it came out, 2003, because it, again, I worked at Blockbuster at the time, so it was like, early release, sweet! And then I watched it and I was like, what the fuck? Returning it. So it's just... There's no point to the movie. It's one of those things where there's no point except for gore, and that's Eli Roth's MO to me. I haven't seen all his movies because I got that sour taste in my mouth. So
he's very one.
People might feel the need to correct me, but I'm sorry. I just don't like his shit. Sorry. So Audition moves on in this round. I would have voted Audition too. I think it's just a better made film in general. There's something about the auditioning process itself that just has me glued to the screen, and I feel the chemistry between the lead and the main girl. Who ultimately ends up having a pet that's like has no tongue,
right?
Shit like that. But and he's eating vomit, whatever. That's besides the point. You're glued to it though. It sucks you in.
It's the anti-Salo, because Salo is people with power exerting it on people without it. This is somebody taking advantage of somebody that was essentially trying to take advantage of his being able to craft this audition for a movie that doesn't exist. So that he can find somebody to fuck for the rest of his life. I mean, come on.
He's using his position of power to take advantage of these women, and she, existing in a culture that's similar to that, is trying to take her power back, but to extreme measures, obviously.
For sure.
Because that's what the society fucking does to people.
Right.
I feel like I got to say my piece for Audition now, because the next round is going to be very difficult for it. But yeah, that's ultimately what the movie is. And it's hard to watch, but when you think of that in the back of your mind, you're like, I fucking get it. I get why she's doing this.
Totally.
But I wouldn't have gone to that measure, obviously. Yeah, it's a really great movie. Yeah, it's even though he is lower on the totem pole in terms of people that have power in the industry of film or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
He's still using the minimal power he has to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's fucked up.
Exactly. And it's all because of some throwaway comment at dinner with his son like 11 years later. Like, why'd you do to me?
Yeah, it's just some bullshit. Just tell your son, fuck you, I'm happy.
Why would you go to that extreme kind of measure to do that? Like, just go to a bar and get a bitch drunk on sake and shit. Like, come on.
Who fucking cares? Yeah, like, look, I don't, obviously I'm not a parent. I can't speak to that element of the movie, but ultimately I would just tell my son, fuck you, I'm happy by myself.
Right.
And that's it.
Right.
Like, I mean, that would end the conversation.
Right.
Anyway,
like,
the next,
what's his
semifinal.
face's dad from Master of None. Like, I can't remember his friend's dad. Who's just like happy to be himself, but he's dating a little bit. Sorry. Random.
Oh, fuck, who was that? That wasn't Aziz's dad? That was
No. It's his. I'm stereotyping here. This is going to be terrible. It's his Asian friend's dad.
The Asian friend's dad. Okay.
Yeah.
I barely remember that. I honestly want to rewatch the second season again because it's still in my top 5 of this year.
So good.
Still in my top 5 considering everything that's come out.
Top 5? Really? Considering everything that's come out? Amazing.
Dude, yes.
That's amazing.
Because all I think about is the Thanksgiving episode, the episode where it's just him and Francesca together, and the Italy episode where it's black and white. Yeah. I just can't stop thinking about it. I keep running those through my brain, and I'm like, that's just the best shit that's come out this year, period.
It's my most suggested for sure. When people ask me what Netflix thing to get into,
that's Master of None is easy to get into.
Go ahead and I say this lightly, get through the first season. Not that it's bad. It's absolutely not bad at all.
Yeah, the first season's awesome.
It's good,
really
but
good. It's just season 2. It's like amazing.
Season 2 makes
every
you
episode
realize
has its own identity. It's so good.
Season 1 is just it's feeling itself out, but season 2 has a purpose, and that's you have to get there for sure.
It's so great. Oh man, I can't recommend it enough. But the semifinals of this match of this tournament. That will never get. The tournament will never get through. I can't even talk.
Jesus,
I'm going to
man.
talk like a 7-year-old because it's fucking wine.
This is
All right.
great.
So we have Old Boy versus Requiem.
Requiem for a Dream. Listen, never do heroin ever. Okay, heroin will kill you. Okay, it's
I'm
bad.
never going to edit this episode because it's just too perfect.
You
the way
can't.
All right.
You can't. Don't do it.
Old Boy versus Requiem for a Dream. So we have first is it's me. Fuck.
Shit.
I'll never get through this. All right. Here we go. And 3, 2, 1. Old Boy. I'm going Old Boy.
God damn.
I honestly was going to make up my mind at the last second. I'm going to go ahead and go Old Boy just because it's even more so unconventional than Requiem. I know that Requiem has a lot of parts in it that you think that, like, I don't know, you just can't stomach, like the drug shit where she's taking speed and she's vacuuming the house. She can't stop. She doesn't know when to hit pause at all on any of her prescribed drugs. And then, of course, what is going on over there?
Kyle?
Is that Kyle's AC?
Yeah, it might be. The AC just kicked on. Yeah.
His AC has an opinion, does not like mine. But in terms, Old Boy though is just, it's not my top 40 of all time. Might be 50 though. I mean, because it's just in terms of it as a movie, like it's just something that it's never been done before and hasn't been done since. I mean, story-wise, cinematically, you have the hallway scene that really set the tone for what single-take action scenes should be. And I don't think they've measured up to the rawness that's in that hallway scene. But Old Boy does have those disturbing elements that we've already talked about with the incest little spectrum, and you have obviously him eating the squid or whatever the fuck you want to call that. Requiem, of course, has the drug element, but it's a road to get there. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it doesn't really.
You don't die from drugs in a day,
Yeah, exactly. You're kind of like, where's this movie going? The whole movie, you're kind of like, where's this going? And in Old Boy, it starts from that point of like, I hope our protagonist gets out of the situation. And he does, and you're kind of like, how's he going to behave in the situation? But Requiem, you're kind of like, oh man, I hope these people kick the habit. That's the most you hope for. So Old Boy, I just feel like has more substance to it. So I'm going to have to vote for Old Boy. I feel weird about that. But JD, you're next.
Well, I mean, Old Boy definitely might have more substance, but Requiem has the substances. It's plural.
Literal substance.
Plural.
Okay, it's fair.
No, I mean, for me, all right, Old Boy is new love, so I still have to kind of digest it and see where I feel about it. Requiem is a top 40 movie for me all time. It was my number one seed because I hadn't seen some of this other fucked up shit before we made our lists.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. Love you guys, but fuck you guys too. It's all right. Man, I mean, for me, Requiem hits it on such a personal level because of how closely we are all affected by that reality. Like, Old Boy, as much as I appreciate it for everything. I mean, dude, that hallway scene is fantastic. The octopus squid scene, whatever. I don't know. Is it a squid?
I don't know.
Are we saying
got
squid?
More than 4 legs.
The thing with fucking tentacles coming out of his mouth and like wrapping itself around his neck as he's eating it and looking like a crazy ass.
Yeah.
There are a lot of very iconic things, and I totally understand why Hollywood would have the inclination to try and make that movie and eventually end up probably bastardizing it for a lot of people. It's great. It's absolutely great. But Requiem hits it for me on a totally different level, and I'm gonna vote for that. Not only I'm not being objective. This is a personal choice. It's Requiem, and I kind of want to see what Kyle has to say.
Well, I feel like even though you said all this stuff, this is a legitimate split vote.
Yeah,
so I don't feel bad about
really
sending it to Kyle.
It's my number one seed, and all due respect to Old Boy, and I'm not even saying that in the joking sense. Like that's a great fucking movie, and I'm so glad that I finally got to watch it.
Dude, trust me, give it 10 years like Kyle and I did, and you'll be like, yeah, I'm still thinking about that.
Still thinking about this movie.
It's like I told you guys in the group chat, like, I knew what was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to happen, how it would be delivered as a story, but I knew what the end result was, and I was still locked in the moment. Like, I wasn't sitting there worried about the eventual outcome of it. I was still taking it in from a narrative standpoint. And, I mean, it's that good, and like I said, if the new one didn't make that mark for people that have seen the original, then that's the movie's fault. Like, it's just the movie's fault for not engaging its audience well enough. That movie is so fucking good. But Requiem, I have to edge it out. I have to edge it out there.
All right. Well, whatever. Fuck you. Kyle's next.
So Requiem is a really, I don't want to call it a special movie for us, but it hits close to home for us because I think between the three of us, we probably all know someone who's overdosed and died from drugs.
Yes.
Or known someone who's known someone. For me, I know very close friends, who just made a lot of really bad decisions and, died from that type of stuff. And, it is super personal to us and everything like that. But that being said, Old Boy is the movie that I'm still thinking about to this day in terms of just like what really got underneath my skin. Because when you see that movie for the first time, and Janie, unfortunately, you'll never have this experience, but I'm pretty sure you could at least envision or imagine the experience. You don't know where that movie's taking you.
No, you
don't
really
know
don't.
The ending. You don't know that it's going there. Mm-hmm. So when he's explaining it at the end, you're like, wait, what the fuck?
Right. But when you watch it knowing the ending, it telegraphs it in such a subtle way that you're like, how did I... Well, I don't think anybody could have pieced it together from the very beginning. But they definitely put...
There's no way.
They put the border of the picture there, and then they fill in the pieces.
And it's not like M. Night Shyamalan levels of like twists or whatever. Like it's
not that desperate.
It's not desperate, but like you're never gonna guess it. You're never going to get it unless someone's told you, So whenever the reveal happened for the very first time, I'm like, I love this movie, and it was about a movie about a man who enjoys fucking, who chose he would rather continue fucking his daughter than know the truth.
Yep.
Like, okay, wow.
That photo book scene, though, is no less impactful even when you know it. Like, watching him get to that realization in a matter of 20 seconds, flipping through like 8 or 10 photos, like, Jesus.
Yeah.
And this doesn't work without the direction of it took me to the 2013 page. I don't want that one. Park Chan-wook. That's who I'm thinking of. The guy who directed the movie and who also did he also did Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. He did all these vengeance films that were very like kind of female based in a way that I haven't seen, but I heard great things about. He did the Handmaiden last year, which is fucking spectacular. It's so good, but it also has those scenes in it where you're like, I can tell this is by the guy who did Old Boy, because there's some scenes in there where the women are forced to do things that they're implied, though they're not shown. They're forced to do things that they should not. Obviously, no human should ever force another human to do. But you could tell that it's him. This guy is fucking great filmmaker. It's not to the depth, like to the degree of Takashi Miike, where it's just offensive and you just want to tell him to fuck off if he were in front of you. It's just deeper than that. He's just a better storyteller, in my opinion. Damn,
great movie, man.
I'm happy for Old Boy right now. I'm very happy for Old Boy.
I can't even be mad at all. Yeah. This is another 7 versus Requiem for me. Like, I don't care.
The finals will be the most difficult, I think. Absolutely. But the second semifinal, though, is Clockwork Orange. Do you Vidi well or not? Anyway, versus Audition. And Kyle is first on this one. I'm going to go take a nap.
Clockwork Orange versus Audition. Wow.
Yeah. Miserable. Yeah.
Most disturbing movie.
Yeah. Because now they're all good, so quality is... we're here in the quality.
You you get the surprise element in Audition where you're just like, oh, this movie's kind of sweet and cute and weird. Yeah. And then you're like, and 100%. Wait a minute, what the fuck is happening here? You know exactly what kind of movie A Clockwork Orange is like from the moment that movie starts. There's no surprises. I mean, there's surprises, true. But it sets the tone pretty early. The tone is not set in Audition, and I think that helps disturb you a little more, maybe, to your core, because it catches you off guard a little bit, unless, like, you are listening to this podcast and it's suggested to you as a very disturbing movie. So I don't know. I mean, Clockwork Orange is obviously a better movie all day. It's one of the greats, one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Of all time.
No joke. It's in my top 5 of all time right now.
Be left with that feeling of, oh man, like, what, am I sympathizing with this movie or these characters? And, oh, this is kind of gross, and I feel gross. But man, Audition is just so fucking, that word we keep using, visceral and grotesque and crazy looking. And, yeah. But those last moments, that last 20 minutes or so are just, it's unlike anything you're going to see in a movie.
It's the hardest of hard rights.
Yeah, it's seriously. Man, they put you through it, that's for sure. I think I'm going to have to go Audition.
All
right. Shit. All right. I don't want to vote against one of my top 5 movies of all time. This is really, really goddamn difficult. This is me that's next. Sorry for JD being last. If I end up voting for the one that is my favorite, no, wait, I'm totally going to. Clockwork Orange, I think the best part of that movie and the most disturbing aspect of it is the fact that you're feeling this ambivalence within yourself for the main character, for the person that you've been following the entire movie that does all this horrible shit in the first half. And then the second half, you see him tortured to death to take away his free will, which includes all of the elements of him that ultimately drive him to do all this disturbing shit. So you're sitting there as the viewer going, oh, this poor fella. And he's kicked out of his home by his parents, by a dickbag, suddenly tenant who's renting his room out. It's just, it's really hard to stomach. And his former friends drown him in a well, or tried to drown him in a well ultimately, and just torture him, waterboard him in there. And then by the end he's cured, and you're kind of like, how do I celebrate this? There's so many. This movie takes you on so many journeys at more than one point. You're not really, you're sympathizing with him, and then you're like, fuck this guy. Then you're sympathizing with him again. Then you're like, fuck this guy. And I think it's just the direction of the movie, the production design of it, which kind of feels very surreal, especially when they're driving. You're just like, this is obviously a movie. There's just so much working in its favor that makes me feel it's more disturbing and unsettling. Like, it stuck with me when I was 20. When did I first see this movie? 20? I didn't even finish it then, but it stuck in my craw for years until I finished it. And then when I finally finished it, I could not stop watching it. Like, it's just a beautiful movie, and it's disturbing as fuck. So that rape scene should not have Singing in the Rain in it. Let me tell you that. So JD,
oh my god,
where are you going to vote on this split?
I don't know.
One?
I've been sitting here looking at the ceiling for the last 2 minutes while you were talking, knowing that I was going to have to make this goddamn choice.
Oh god.
Silence. It's just silence in my head right now. I don't because I'm like I want to go with Audition from a hard right standpoint. Like I love when a movie is treading along and it just hits the gas at the last minute, and then you finally get to what it's trying to say. I love that. I absolutely love that because it's easy to fucking get your average moviegoer to watch a movie like that, and then by the time they're done reacting to it, they are just completely, they're so shell-shocked from what they're seeing versus what they saw before that they actually suffer through it. Whereas a movie like Clockwork, like I could see a lot of people just being turned away from that movie in the first 15 minutes. If they're not like, movie appreciators like we are and know that it's fucking Stanley Kubrick and all that. But, dude, Jeff, you're not fucking wrong. You're not wrong, man. I like the journey of a unsympathetic character and getting to the end of it and actually feeling fucking sorry for him. Where, I mean, Audition, they pry up the sympathy early on. His wife dies and everything, and you get to the end of the movie, and you kind of you feel bad for what he's going through because you shouldn't have to go through that shit just for trying to get remarried and all that. But the statement that it was trying to make it made him kind of not the bad guy. It made him out
painted him in a different light.
Yeah, it painted him in a different light for sure. It made him being a victim.
He was representative of the culture, basically,
absolutely.
That exists.
But man, I think I'm gonna go with Clockwork here.
Oh boy!
I think I'm gonna go with Clockwork, and it's because a movie that can show you somebody doing fucked up, horrendous shit to people, and you still feel sorry for him, and you're still rooting for him at the end of the movie. I mean, if that's not the most realistic depiction of disturbing, I don't know what is, because that makes you examine yourself and your own feelings about that character and his actions. Like you're okay with that because of this, and I don't know. I think it's from a self-examination standpoint. Like, yeah, it's disturbing that I, as an individual, at the end of that movie, am rooting for him.
Yep. And that's the thing is, like, you have even at the end of the movie, the state, a representative of the state come into the hospital to apologize to him for their treatment of him, the Ludovico technique,
yeah.
And ultimately what it turned him into. The very state that imprisoned him for all of his crimes against humanity, rightfully they imprisoned him, coming in there to go, hey, we're good here, right? And then, of course, the end of the movie is him visualizing him raping somebody in front of a crowd of people. And or consensual sex. It seemed like he was struggling with them, though. You draw your own context from the scene, but still, like, and you're kind of like, do you pump your fist at the end of the movie, like, because he's back to normal, or I mean, what do you fucking do at the end of that movie? Right. There's so many feelings going on in that movie. It causes
so much internal conflict, man. Like
it does,
dude. And tomorrow or yesterday, I could have gone with Audition. I really could have, but today it's Clockwork.
Man, what a final matchup. Oh, this is one for the ages. In one corner. No, I'm kidding. It's Oldboy versus Clockwork. So Kyle is not next. Sorry. JD, you're next.
Jeez.
You know what?
Sorry.
I don't like when somebody actually has to make a valid third point that they have to turn around and immediately change gears and go to a different matchup. That's hard. That's disturbing. I don't like it.
It is difficult,
I don't like
it. Yeah, I know. We're just trying to keep it like the last person that goes is the first person.
I know.
They had the benefit of listening to the first two arguments.
I like it. I just don't like it right now.
Yeah, let's talk about it for 15 minutes.
So we're doing Clockwork versus Oldboy?
Yes.
Son of a bitch. I mean, talk about taking a character that you care about from the very beginning and you want you want him to succeed and all that, but then you realize, holy shit, maybe, I mean, is he the villain? I mean, I know obviously the other guy is the villain, like he put the whole plan in motion, but it all started with that one thing. Just that one little, that tiny rock in the pond that caused the ripple. So can you sympathize with the villain in that movie a little bit? I mean...
I can, for sure.
Man. You know what? I'm on a Clockwork high right now. I really am, and that's the more legendary movie to me. Big picture, it is such a classic. Everybody needs to see it, and same with Oldboy too. I absolutely think everybody needs to see that. But I'm gonna go with Clockwork, man. You guys gotta hash this out.
Ooh, Kyle's next.
I'm gonna go Oldboy. It just feels easy to me. I feel like. Oh, I know I'm going to ostracize myself between you two. I think it's going to be a cop-out if we go fucking Clockwork for this episode. So I'm going Oldboy because I don't want to fucking be a cop-out.
Clockwork is the work of Stanley Kubrick, which means it's too pretty. Oldboy is visceral and therefore falls in line with the most disturbing aspect. But it's also watchable and really great. So I'm going to have to go with Oldboy, too.
You fucking
God damn
blew
it.
my mind.
Wow.
Fuck yeah.
Clockwork is for the people that take off their pants and jerk it to great cinematography and production design. Old Boy is I mean, it's still, there's some pretty moments.
Absolutely, but it's pretty in a dirty way.
But it's just it's exactly, it's a dirty movie. It's you feel dirty watching it, and that's what you want to feel out of a disturbing movie. But you also want it to be great, and that's what Old Boy is. So I feel like I have to go with Old Boy. There we go.
Wow.
Right now.
A number fucking
Old
8
boy.
seed won this fucking shit. And I'm not
number
even
8
mad,
seed,
man.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a good fucking movie. It's just so new to me that I'm like, I still have to process everything. You know, I haven't gone through that, like, 5 years of reflection, 10 years of reflection.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
You pick up on a lot more in a
It's
second
getting a
viewing.
second viewing, and I'm drinking a shot to Old Boy right now. I'm doing it.
Yeah, all right.
Hell yeah.
All right.
It's worth it. It's a great movie.
Cheers,
So
man.
that's our winner of most disturbing movies is Old
Proof
Boy.
that
and
not
I
only
cannot
number one
wait.
seeds can ever win.
Yeah. Proof. It's proof, everybody.
Proof, not always.
Proof is in the shit buffet.
Just
I didn't put it.
90% of the times.
Proof is in the shit buffet. Good
Not
point.
pudding.
All right. So that's it for the most disturbing movies, and it's been a blast because we've been drinking, and that's been a very unique experience for me. At
Yeah,
least.
for y'all. I mean, I'm like, okay,
Holy
cool.
shit! Does it trigger some thoughts in me? That's for sure.
I
All right.
know, yeah.
So the next episode
Another
that we
serious
have
topic
is,
coming up.
It's totally serious, totally disturbing. It's the comic book superhero movies,
Oh.
and I felt like it was good to give us a break
Jesus.
for the next month or so
It is.
of fucked up things that we have to watch. Comic book superhero movies is one of those, and it's in honor of Thor Ragnarok, which comes out at the beginning of November. And we're going to throw Justice League in there because we don't want it to suck. But if it does, we won't be surprised.
Will.
And then after that, we have 2007 video games again. You don't have to. I mean, it's not like I'm going to pick up a 2007 video game tomorrow. So
You know how I know Justice
not a whole
League
lot
is
of
gonna
homework
suck,
there.
and I think that meme that I've been seeing today, kind of says it all. The robot in Ex Machina looks 100 times better than the robot than Cyborg.
Truth.
And that and guess
And
what?
they won an
Ex
Oscar
Machina's
for
made,
that.
like $22 million, and
Yeah.
and I think like fucking Justice League is like $222 million. So
Yeah.
like,
Jesus.
They won
man.
an Ex Machina. Notably won an Oscar for their special effects. Especially notable because they were a lower
they
budget
should
movie
have hired
among all
that
the
guy to make
nominees.
Cyborg. I guess is my point.
Right?
God, and how hyped,
Well, we want to make them look realistic. Oh, never
how
mind.
hyped are
We wanna
y'all
go with
for
somebody that makes them
Annihilation
look
because of
derpy.
that shit, man?
Oh, dude,
Annihilation.
God,
I am on
pretty much over the
damn,
moon
that
for
movie
that
looks so
movie.
good.
Yeah. People that watch that trailer and go, I don't know, I'm iffy about it. I'm
Why?
Like, what the fuck
What
were
are
you
you
watching?
even be iffy about?
Because you should know that whatever they've shown you in that trailer is not like
It's not
anywhere
It's
near
nothing.
what's going to happen. Like, I mean,
Right.
it's nowhere near the bulk of what's going to happen. You're
Yep.
just you're
What
getting
you're
the
looking
fringe.
for in that trailer is the visuals and who's
Yes.
in it and the
Yes,
tone. That's it.
exactly,
And it's
anything
tonally
else you're
similar to
projecting
Ex
onto
Machina.
it.
precisely.
Exactly. Well, I don't know about that movie. Fucking
All right.
come on. All right. It looks
Look, Mortal
great.
Kombat.
But yeah, that was our.
So fuck movies with Annihilation in it. Look, you're not wrong. Okay, but fuck off. Watch this movie.
All right, I'm excited for our comic book superhero venture. We are going to break some rules for it, which the only rule that we have really for top 10 lists is, no sequels. But there's only so many comic book superhero movies that we're going to go ahead and include sequels and movies that occur in the same universe, like Marvel MCU movies, basically.
So if you want to choose
because,
Winter Soldier and Civil War, it's allowed
Civil War.
on this list.
Okay,
Exactly.
All right, cool.
Or Dark Knight Rises
Or
and
if you
Dark
want to
Knight,
choose,
basically.
Dark Knight Rises and Dark Knight, you can choose, but which all four of those
Yeah.
movies, spoilers on my list.
Right, same here. And my honorable mention doesn't have that many, despite there being so many great movies in this genre. So like, it's still like it's not that many in this genre. So it's
Just
justified. The people won't feel like, ooh, change your rules. They probably don't even care at this point.
Get
So-
ready, Man of Steel #1. Fuck you guys.
If you do that, I swear
Oh
to
my God.
fucking Christ.
What are you gonna do? Fly down here from fucking
Wow.
I'm
Colorado
gonna
and do
fucking
something about
cry
it?
and quit the podcast is what I'll probably end up doing.
No.
We're all
Dude,
no,
fucking-
Captain America: Civil War.
Fine. I will put my personal feelings aside for yours, sir.
Good.
I will sacrifice No,
No one
fuck
in
that
the
movie.
world likes that movie legitimately. People just talk themselves into like.
Look, I don't
No.
mind
it's
it.
deep, Kyle. You don't
Look,
get
I
it.
don't mind it. But all it takes is watching that movie with an actual color filter on it. You're like, oh, that's what it should have been.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yep.
It probably
100%.
should have been like an hour and a half shorter, and it probably should have been directed by a different director, and
Yeah,
it probably should have been written by a different guy. Probably should have had a lot of things different, but what do I know?
Could they have brought Richard Donner out of retirement for that movie? I mean, Jesus Christ.
I think it needed Richard
Jesus.
Pryor should have come back and been
Probably,
in that.
yeah.
Would have been
Just
that
reanimate
would have been
him,
good.
put him up
That would have
there,
been
yeah.
good.
Wasn't that one of the worst?
Yeah,
That was
Worst.
the worst. Ah,
I was being for real when I said Richard Donner because he's the one that did the first one. And
I was
some of the
not
sequel.
being
All right,
for
anyway,
real when I said Richard Pryor.
I took that as sarcasm.
Okay, good.
So here we go. We're leaving now. Thanks for listening. I'm Jeff at Jeff Whitty, Widdy on Twitter. Kyle's at sub_cultured on Twitch when he streams and sub-culture.com when he writes, which is rare,
I mean,
right?
I'm
Is that rare?
supposed to be writing something every month, so.
Oh, okay. Well, you'll see him there sometimes. Sometimes you won't deal with it. JD is
I'm
here,
here.
and there you go.
Yeah, I have this and bigger than my podcast ish, and I
That's
am
not a thing. That's- I
I
don't
am
know
a
what that
level
is.
38 Pokemon trainer, so you can find me.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
dude. That and there's
I'm level 7 on South Park: The Fractured Butthole.
how many levels
So-
are there in that game? Because there's all.
I don't know.
have
I
no
just
idea.
got to level
It's an endless
11,
game.
so.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. I still have to play Stick of
an
Truth
endless
because I'm
game,
a terrible asshole that's broke and doesn't buy video games.
Dude, Stick of Truth is
Yeah.
so
I know.
good. It's
I know.
short,
I'm
though.
You
just
It's
play
short. You
both
can
of
get
these
through it.
games like in 2 weeks, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, but you say that though. My attention span for games nowadays is just so low.
This one's pretty good at keeping your attention.
I know it.
Yeah.
It would be, but man,
It's addicting.
Yeah,
I
it's got a very nice just one more thing.
I-
Let me just
I
do
need-
just one.
Yeah, it does.
Let me just get this
So
one
did
more.
Destiny 2
let
for
me
me.
just go down the street one more. You know, it's just, and then all of a sudden it's 4 hours later, and you're like, "Fuck."
I'll tell you what I need to get back into video games. It's to live by myself again. Once
Yeah.
I get there, I'm gonna get back into that shit. Because yeah, don't wanna be. Yeah. Once I'm back in
All right,
solo
so
town,
thanks
it's
for
gonna
thanks for solo Star Wars story is what you're talking about. All right, so
handy solo.
thanks for tuning in to the drunkcast of Enter Tournament.
It was fun. I'm glad you guys are on my level, man.
Yeah.
Watch us on iTunes.
Watch us?
Not watch us. listen to us on iTunes.
I watch this
and
on YouTube. That's actually how I listen to our episodes. I'm one of.
Oh, fucking
I'm-
nice. Some people
I'm one
do,
of the
man.
8
That's why.
views on
That's
all
why I
of
put
our
it there.
YouTube episodes. And I don't know if
Nice.
half views count as more than one because I get like halfway through it and fall asleep. Not because we're boring, but just because it's like whatever.
Right.
And then
You're bored by us. You shouldn't even be here.
I've already had these conversations.
So here we go.
So.